Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Unquestionably Raw NBA podcast. We are back again talking episodes 5 and 6 of The Last Dance. I am your host, Coach Matt, along with all my co-hosts here. Basically, we're all big, happy family here.
You should know everybody by now.
Yeah, DJ Gonzostar. We got Byron, and we got Mike Skills, and then we got another group coming on for part 2. First, I'm gonna go to you first, Byron. And I got to ask, we get to see Kobe on screen. What did you think?
About the Kobe portion?
Yeah, overall, just the Kobe part.
It was really cool seeing his hunger at that age, finally hearing him say how much MJ meant to him. And it just hits different with, obviously, his untimely passing.
Real quick, Byron, not to interrupt, but I want to put this out to the quote that Kobe put. And I definitely want you to respond to this. He said, "I truly hate having discussions about who would win one-on-one, between him and Mike." And he said, "You heard fans, hey, Kobe, you'd beat Mike one-on-one." And he's like, "I feel like, what you get from me is from him. I don't get the 5 championships without him because of all the advice."
I think Moochie Norris said it best when he was on this podcast a year, 2 years ago. He said, Michael Jordan is the GOAT and Kobe is his shadow. No one has emulated him the way that Kobe Bryant has, and I don't think anyone ever will. To hear him say that, I think it's good for this generation to know, because I was having a discussion, I won't say argument, with the younger gentleman, maybe about the end of last fall, I want to say. He and another. It was 3 of us talking. I'm sorry, and 2 of us had seen Michael Jordan play. We're the same age, and he's younger, and obviously he didn't really get to see Michael's career, maybe as a Wizard but not a Bull. And he was just, oh, Kobe this, Kobe that. He's the greatest in my eyes. He's this, he's that. I'm like, do you know where he got his game from? Do you know who taught him? Do you know who his mentors were? And so I think that it's good that Kobe said that, so that kids didn't get an opportunity to see Michael Jordan play, but admired Kobe, know who we idolize. And I think we got to really study the greats to be great. And also, it gives you the sense of we can be a fan of both. Obviously, those that are diehard Kobe fans are going to compare him to Mike because they've heard so much about him, and people from our generation and older idolize him. So I love that portion.
Mm-hmm. And it's crazy. A lot of people have hated on Kobe in the past. Well, he just did nothing but bite Mike's game. Like, wait a second. If you're gonna copy someone's game, why not copy the best player ever, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Mike Skills. What were your thoughts on all the Kobe stuff and his quote about Mike and how he learned all the 5 championships? It wouldn't have been possible without Mike.
I think it's dead on. I mean, Byron's assessment is accurate. I mean, I think we're all prisoners to the moment and to the age we grow up in. Like, the music you listen to, the athletes you follow, the shows you like when you're at a certain age, they follow you because that's your hero. That's your music. And so to you, that's the greatest. It's like when we were kids, people would say like, oh, you love Michael Jordan, man, you should have seen Dr. J, or you should have seen Elgin Baylor. And it's like, I never saw those guys in their prime. I only saw like footage, I didn't get to experience it every day and watch the games and tape them. So to see Kobe say it, and also to have that flashback to that moment of that All-Star game, and how even Bob Costas alluded to it at the time. And I'm glad they went out of their way to put it in there. Like, this may be the passing of the torch, even though Jordan has not,
yes,
given the torch to anyone, but this may be as close to it as possible. And like, it was spot on. It was spot on. And I think the younger generation, the people who Kobe was their Jordan, will appreciate it that way, as like, wow, he learned that from Mike. And we have to appreciate how good Mike is, because without Mike, there's no Kobe, So I thought that was interesting. It was bittersweet too.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you mentioned about taping the games. Because I don't know if you still have these, but I know you damn near had like almost every game from that last three-peat regular season that was on TV. You had it recorded on. For those who don't know what we had back then, VHS tapes.
Well, shoot, I'm gonna take it even further back than that. I have the first three-peat on beta cassette.
Damn.
So I have the Lakers finals, the Portland finals, the Phoenix finals. I even got some of the '94 season when they lost to the Knicks and whatnot. So like, before on demand and before all that, you had to tape these.
It's crazy because I remember. I think it was. Remember when the Avengers came out? I met you at your apartment. We went to the whatever that was, it an AMC, I think, over close to the Galleria in Houston.
Whatever.
So right when I get, I'm always early, so I'm about an hour early before we're supposed to go. And I'm like, Byron has been telling me, Byron has been telling me about all these tapes that he's like, yeah, Mike's got all these tapes. And I'm like, Skills, you got the 98 at Chicago Lakers Bulls. Man, this goes and just boom, pops it in. All this stuff he's speaking is true. He had the tapes. I saw them with my own eyes.
I used to go to Mike's house and he'd be like, yo, bro, I'm going to invite some people over. I'm going to make some food. Let's watch some old Bulls games. And we sit and watch the games in their entirety.
Mm-hmm. Hey, and when I say we saw I'm talking about 2012 Avengers, not Avengers Endgame. Avengers 2012.
The first one,
Yes.
Because it was one of those things where if you didn't see it live and you didn't see a replay, it didn't happen. You had to take somebody's word for it. So I'd be in arguments with people like, Jordan didn't dunk on Patrick Ewing yesterday. I'd be like, I got the game. Let's go to my house and watch it, and then pop the tape in. And I bet somebody a soda and win a soda because I had the tape. But that's just the time it was. It was like
they didn't have House of Highlights.
Hey, Byron, remember when like the first time I got League Pass was when I came back from school from California, and it was the second part of Mike's last season with the Wizards. So my pops orders League Pass just so I could watch every Wizards game. Byron, let the people know I had every game on video cassette at that time for the Wizards.
Every Wizards game.
Yes, just for Michael Jordan.
And that was when you started. That's when you became such a huge Kobe.
Well, I was a Kobe fan from the beginning. Like, for anybody who follows me on Twitter knows I collect basketball cards and all that stuff. I remember my freshman year, which was Kobe's rookie year. I traded all my Iverson rookies for Kobe rookies. So, and then all of a sudden I was just like, I don't like this Kobe guy anymore. And then I started, like, once Mike was with the Wizards and it was when Kobe, I think, had like, what was it, Pete? 5 straight, like 40, 50-point games, 7 straight. Yeah. And I was like, holy shit, I forgot how cold this dude was. And it
was that 50-point game he had against MJ in the last.
He had like 45 at halftime.
Yeah.
He would have scored 90 that game.
Yeah, I think if anybody was going to break Wilt's record or tie it or come,
it would have been,
Well, I mean, we also witnessed the 81. I saw that thing live, not at Staples Center, but live on League Pass. I was in awe. I got to go to you, Gonzo. Hold on, go ahead, Mike. Then I'm going to Gonzo.
Just to backdoor real quick, I didn't see the 81-point live, and to kind of let people know of that era of the 90s and even the early aughts. I was at school, and I remember running into Byron, and everyone was like, yo, you see the game last night?
I had the Kobe Bryant jersey on.
Yeah, and I was like, what game? It was like, it was the Lakers and Raptors. I was like, okay, what happened? It was like Kobe had 81. And I was like, 81 what? And then I had to go like Google it, because if you didn't see it, this was before Google was really popping, and so you had to be in the moment. And then I had to go watch highlights. I didn't see that game for like 6 years. Until like NBA TV put it on one day, and I'm like, "Ooh, let me watch this."
Well, look, that game was so classic that I think they put it on either NBA TV or ESPN Classic like that same week.
Yeah, it was ESPN Classic.
And see, before I go to you, Gonzo, y'all see this is a Michael Jordan documentary podcast, and we're talking Kobe. This is how important Kobe Bryant was to all of us. How much he meant to the game.
We might have to do another episode this week that's just dedicated to him.
We might have to. We all got Kobe stories. Gonzo, I'm coming to you now.
How you guys doing?
Oh, we're good, man.
All right.
He's about to go in.
Yeah, I'm ready. Go ahead, Gonzo. Go in. I know you're about to.
Well, again, man, I think that I get angry sometimes when people skip over after Michael Jordan. They skip and they go straight to LeBron.
I knew this was coming.
They go straight to Will. First of all, Kobe is almost a carbon copy of prime Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way he can be that close to being like the GOAT and not be classified as the number 2 greatest player of all time. Honestly, in my opinion, I have Michael Jordan 1A, Kobe 1B, and you can just put anybody else in whatever way you want.
Hey, the LeBron James fans are coming for you, Gonzo.
Well, I can care less because most of LeBron James fans don't know too much of jack crap.
Are you going overall player, or are you just going like guard?
You think he's going overall?
I think I'm gonna go overall. He can do everything. He might not have been as great as a defender as Mike, but his defense was very, very good.
Yeah.
He wasn't afraid of a challenge. He was stick of LeBron James.
Right.
Somebody you would think he wasn't able to
shut
guard.
him down and shut him down.
I would say he wouldn't shut him down.
He would stick of Chris Paul. He would stick of Russell Westbrook, smaller guards who were much faster and crafty. He didn't mind sticking those.
Hey, speaking of, that's who remember 2012 playoffs. That's who he was guarding when the Lakers matched up against the Thunder. He was guarding Russ.
Yeah.
You know, so that just tells you how great of a player Kobe Bryant was, and he had that same mentality that Michael Jordan had to destroy my opponent at whatever cost.
Yeah.
And I don't think we really, I don't really think we appreciated it enough until after Kobe retired. We didn't really pay attention to it while he was playing. Well, we knew he was good while he was playing, but once he retired, that's when I kind of stood back and I realized, like, wow, this dude's a lot like Michael Jordan, and his whole death thing just kind of made me realize, like, and I go back and look at his footage. I'm like, he's doing the same thing Mike is doing. He's trying to stick the best guy on the other team, the same as Mike would.
And his like, footwork in the post, the only two better, Mike and Hakeem.
It's
and who did he learn from?
Hakeem and Mike.
Exactly.
He did work with Hakeem.
Yeah. And my thing is how do you not put him number 2 all time? It's to me, it just seems crazy that he wouldn't be number 2. He has the rings, he has the game. Everybody knows it across the country, across the world, the globe.
Let me ask real quick, Gonzo. Was he robbed of a couple MVPs, you think?
Absolutely. He was definitely robbed. He was definitely robbed. Oh, absolutely.
I got to go to you now, Pete.
It's a travesty that he only had one MVP.
Yeah. Go ahead, Pete.
I mean, you just look at the All-Star game, like what Jordan said. All right, this kid's gonna go one-on-one. Like I'm, basically let's stop him. And what Kobe put up was it 18 in that game?
Yeah,
the All-Star game, and was efficient at doing it. And it's pretty cool
to see. He was coming off the bench on his regular team.
Yeah, Eddie Jones was ahead of him, and I'm like, I'm thinking back, and I forgot about Del Harris being the coach, and I'm just like, if
that's
things would have
the coach much longer.
Yeah, if things would have got a little bit different in the beginning, I think Kobe would have had even more impactful career because he would have got started earlier because he had to sit the rookie year behind people, and even his second year
he only played he averaged 15 16 a game, but he only played 25 minutes a game his second year.
Right.
He wasn't playing 35 like LeBron and Carmelo and Wade and those guys.
Right.
But he was past Jabbar all the time. Had Del Harris played him.
That's what I'm saying. So
I don't think different just because of the injuries. I think he would have came. I think he might have caught Karl Malone. I don't think he would have caught Kareem. The injury stopped it.
Just overall with Kobe, look at what he did with the, right after, what was it, 03, 04, everybody left. You get Smush Parker as your point guard.
Kwame Brown is your center.
Kwame Brown, you still will those guys to, get into the playoffs.
What did he win? 45, 46 games that year? Shout out also to Phil Jackson, who was the coach who got him those wins, helped him there.
Yeah. I mean, he was just really good. And people don't agree with, the way that he, kind of got the best out of his teammates, so to speak, yelling at him, calling him, Charmin tissue paper and all this other stuff. But at the same time, people crucified Kobe, but Jordan did the same thing, and it was okay. It's just a different era of social media versus non-social media. And right. I know the documentary, The Last Dance is going to get to a little bit more in depth on Jordan and his kind of practice incidents and stuff like that. But at the same time, I mean, it's a competitive fire. I would rather have somebody competitive and, want to do anything it takes to win than somebody just say, all right, we're good coming in second place. That's not going to, that doesn't get you championships. Even Kobe, we all know tears his Achilles, nobody in their right mind is normally going to, push themselves to get to the free throw line to knock down those free throws, but he did it.
And he walked off the floor. He wasn't carried.
Yeah. That gave me all the respect because I'll be honest, obviously being a Sixers and an Iverson fan, I wasn't the biggest Lakers fan. Obviously wasn't huge on Kobe, but you have to respect Kobe's game. Yeah. And in later years, once Philly started sucking after, Iverson was gone, it's like, all right, I just like basketball as a whole. I don't really have a set team and just to watch Kobe just, electrify the NBA, even when you had LeBron and all that. Because I look at LeBron more like a Magic all-around player. Yeah. He's not a dominant scorer and an alpha type player. Mm-hmm. I don't look at LeBron that way. Mm-hmm. And so Kobe is that type that is by far the closest. I don't even put a guy like McGrady because I feel like McGrady's work ethic wasn't there.
Right.
McGrady could have been so much better if his work ethic was there. But
it's like Clyde Drexler was to Michael. It's how Matt and I said to him. Probably some would argue better than Clyde Drexler, but similar compared to physical.
You could almost argue Tracy's damn near the most talented player we've ever seen. He just didn't have the work ethic.
Gifted, maybe, because you can't teach length and athleticism.
And he had all those skills.
But when you think about it, Tracy is like Durant before Durant. When you look at Durant's game, like he could shoot. He could space the floor. He could get to the rim.
He was 6'9".
No, but he was way more agile,
right?
Way more fluid than Durant was.
The thing about McGrady is his knock was obviously the work ethic, but he didn't play defense.
No,
if he had put effort on defense, then you could have said, okay, he's close to Kobe, but he put no effort on that.
You know what's funny? When everybody remembers when Mike was with the Wizards, he'd go up against Paul Pierce, bust his ass.
Yeah,
but who was the one guy when matched up with one-on-one he struggled with? It was Tracy McGrady. He was blocking Mike's fadeaways, the length, and Tracy was going at him too, which is weird. Like, where was that effort on everybody else for Tracy?
Right.
Yeah, and I think one thing that gets lost in it with that era is that Kobe suffered from two things that kind of gets lost in history. One thing is our entire generation, we grew up trying to be like Mike. Mm-hmm. And here comes this guy
that's like Mike.
Audacity to be like Mike,
right.
and come so close to being him.
He pulled it off. He pulled it off.
That's what I'm saying. He's so close that we can barely tell the difference sometimes. Like, you ever seen those Instagram or those Facebook videos side by side?
Yeah, or they do one where Mike is starting the shot, they show Kobe finishing it.
It was like a carbon copy. And then the other thing you touched on was about the MVPs, like him having that scandal, and it really hurt his image. And conveniently, you have the Malice in the Palace, and the NBA is like, you know what? We need a better face for this league. We need this new guy named LeBron, or we need this little point guard named Steve Nash. Like, there's no reason Shaq and Kobe didn't have an MVP.
Tim Duncan is no reason. Yeah. Tim Duncan was another one that they promoted to be that role model, because of the scandal. Here's what I would compare Michael and Kobe. Another thing, like Michael Jackson was like that guy, and they were looking for, and then Chris Brown comes along, and we hadn't seen anyone dance like that since Michael Jackson. So they want to anoint him the new Michael. He makes one mistake, and it's like they never forgive him for it. Therefore, and I don't think that was really close. Other than dancing. Not to go on a tangent, but it's like the kid made a mistake when he was very young.
Yeah.
And the public has still not forgiven him. Therefore, he has not received the accolades that his art, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or the proper recognition.
And Kobe was forgiven for his mistake.
I think that's why Tim Duncan has one of Kobe's MVP trophies at his house.
Steve Nash as well. And one of those two Nash MVPs should have been Kobe's.
Exactly. And Steve Nash has one as well.
Yeah.
That 03 season that they actually lost to the Spurs in the postseason.
Kobe was the MVP that year.
Was not playing at the level that Kobe was. I mean, I told you then, and you're like, he's not going to get it. You said they're going to give it to Tim Duncan.
I told you, obviously.
There's no way that he should. He averaged 30 with Shaq on his team, and he went down.
Even like for those, like, obviously we didn't have social media back in the early 2000s and mid 2000s like we do now. Know, because Twitter and iPhones and stuff. That stuff popped off late 04, 05, right? And so you see like Kobe. The narrative stuff, everything is narrative driven now. It was narrative driven back then, though, even without social media, which is why Kobe didn't get his MVP.
And I completely agree with that. I think for a lot of times he was seen as kind of like a hot dog upstarter, but at the same time it was like the crisis of the league trying to keep their image. With the drop off from Jordan leaving, and then you have people forget in the moment. Hoopers liked Iverson's game.
Oh, we all loved AI. Doesn't nobody hate on AI?
But from a publicity and a mainstream marketing standpoint, there was a lot of resistance to him and what was considered like the hip hop generation, like people showing up to the games in do-rags and things like that. And, you have the Malice in the Palace, and then you start instituting the dress code and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So Kobe is a casualty to that, unknowingly. And I definitely agree with Pete. Like some of the stuff Jordan did, like I went back and I'm rereading the Jordan rules right now.
Oh, wow.
And like Will Perdue sets a screen on him in practice. Mike walls off and punches Will Perdue in the face.
Yeah.
The next week, Phil Jackson installs curtains around the windows in the practice facility because he says, I want to keep it private so the guys can work out. No, he doesn't want the outside world seeing what's going on. Like, I'm listening to Bill Simmons' podcast, and he's talking about in the playoffs, Larry Bird's at a bar and gets into a bar fight.
I saw that.
And
they protected Bird. They protected Larry for that.
Yeah, they did. But it's like in the social media era when everyone has a camera phone, everyone has a platform. You can just get exposed.
Man, like, look at us now. We're all commentators now. We're all analysts, basically.
Can you imagine this? Like Tony Parker was in the crossfire, Chris Brown and Drake, and a bottle gets tossed at him, breaks across his head.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that without social media? Yeah, I went to a bar. Two guys were in an argument over a girl. They'd be like, "Oh, that was Drake." Like,
and if you remember, a piece of glass in Tony Parker's eye. He had to wear goggles for a year, almost lost his eyesight.
Right. Or
really reported.
Could you imagine, like, let's say, like, like Spud Webb is at a bar and they're he's in a fight.
Oh,
what I mean?
Come on, man.
Could you imagine that with social media? Then you go on Twitter, you see Michael Jackson and Prince fighting.
Come on, man. I gotta move on real quick because we got to get into the Jays, Byron. Mm-hmm. We got to get into this. Woo! So they went into the whole thing with Converse and it was Adidas, Converse and Adidas and all that. And I'm gonna get your opinion there. But first, I want to ask everybody. I'm starting with you, Byron. Your first pair of Jays, man, that you remember getting. It doesn't have to be your first pair because if you were like 4, you might not remember that.
Right. Yeah. I think the ones that really stand out to me.
Now, I don't want to know what stands out to you. I want to know which one was your first pair.
You said it might not be the first one I got. So
no, I want to know which ones was your first pair. You said when you say the ones that stand out to me, that means
okay. I obviously don't remember stunting in the Air Jordan 1s, and
No, I know that. But you say the ones that stand out. I'm thinking you're going to where these are the ones I liked. I don't care which ones you liked.
I remember one that my mom surprised me with.
This is what I want to hear. This is the stuff that the people want.
Was the Taxi 12s. Like, I remember at the time, my sister, while she was waiting to get her teaching job, she had a part-time gig at Payless and Westwood Mall, which doesn't exist anymore. And right across from Payless.
Wait, real quick. Wasn't Westwood the one with the carousel?
That would be the one with the
Okay.
Brothers Street used to be in there.
Really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I used to go up there, hang out with her sometimes, and the foot action was right across the hall. And I remember them having like this advertisement for the new Jordan. Because it wasn't like now where we saw in advance, months in advance what was coming out. And it was those Taxi 12s. And I was like, man, I want those shoes. And at the time I had like maybe $100. And that's when the price jumped up to like $135. And
that's correct, $135.
Yeah, they were $134.99. I needed that $34.99 plus tax. I didn't have it.
We all remember those days, right, Pete Gonzo?
I mean, I was a little kid. I was like 14.
That's what I'm saying. We all remember. No, you were at least 50. You were 50.
No,
you were 14. Yeah, that's right. 14. I was 15.
And then I remember like this was still when Jordans came out on weekdays, and they stopped that. Obviously, my sophomore year, they stopped because kids were skipping school. So they started releasing.
They remember our junior and senior year. Remember, dudes were skipping school to go get the last shot 14s. They came out on a weekday.
But the reason why they did that was because they came out on the day that he made the shot.
Oh no, we're not the last. Oh, okay. No, because those last shot 14s came out in March.
Yeah,
I remember Regis and them. They all were skipping school to go buy the Jays.
No, they came out on a Saturday. Because,
are you sure?
Because my mom took me. My mom.
Okay.
I gave my mom the cash money.
Okay, I remember they put everything. That's right. You're right, Byron. Because I remember buying the baby blue 15s. It was a Saturday they came out. You are correct. So I should never question Byron's knowledge of Jays.
Back to my story. So
I apologize.
So I didn't have the $34.99 plus tax. I didn't
plus tax.
So I was like, "Mom, I need these shoes." But what I did know was, my sister knew the manager, and she'd already asked him to like hold the pair for me. So, later on in that day, I was outside playing basketball with my friends, and my mom called me in the house, and she presented me the box. So
real quick, was Dasa there?
Box was there, yeah. And so my mom had given me the shoes, and that was like a surprise to me. She gave me the $34.99 plus tax, and I was
nice.
Like, so that was a moment for me because I didn't know they had planned that whole thing out.
And this is big because for those that don't know, I'm going to kind of go into this. Byron really wanted the Concord 11s, and he couldn't get them.
Story, please.
Go ahead. Yeah.
The shoe that this was probably one of my favorites. Like,
there you go.
Reason being, I had to have this because in the fall of 1995, I wanted this shoe so badly. Like, I wanted it, but
you and everybody else.
But the reason why I wanted it too is because Nike's marketing for this was fantastic. They had like these ads in sports. My next door neighbor used to always give me these Sports Illustrated after her husband read them. So anything Michael Jordan, I collected. And at the back of one of them, he wore the shoe in the playoffs, the '95 playoffs, which
against Orlando.
They didn't premiere, that early. We found out about them usually like in the beginning of the fall when they're about to release. So I saw this ad and it just had this shoe laying down and had a 1-800 number. And I must have called that number I don't know how many times. And it would give you all the details about the shoe. And I used to I think I even took toward the back page of that Sports Illustrated and put it in my binder. I used to just come home every day like, man, I've never seen anything like that, patent leather on a sneaker. I was like, I got to have these. And I just asked my mom every day. And again, I had $100 and they were $124.99. And I had saved $100. And I was like, Mom, I need that $124.99. I needed that $24.99 plus tax. I don't remember what taxes were.
Plus tax.
Yeah. But she just did not like, and she didn't tell me this. She actually bought me these because she didn't get them for me when I was 13. So she actually bought me this pair. And especially
we're talking about. She bought you the 2018 pair.
Right.
Okay. For Christmas.
So they came out 2 years ago as a Christmas gift. Because I didn't, and the reason why she didn't give me that pair, a lot of time I'm gonna say this because I don't know what kid is watching or whatever, who your parents might, tell you no, and there's always a reason behind that. Sometimes we think our parents are just telling us no because they want to be jerks or whatever. But I think she was really doing it to protect me because the hysteria that this brought about was, just the hype, everything that this shoe brought about. That's when, for a time period since like 1990 when the 5s came out, we weren't seeing kids get assaulted and robbed for their sneakers but it escalated.
The kids were getting their ass beat for them.
That was
A lot of kids were getting beat up. One of my friends got threatened. A football player wanted to beat him up and take his shoes. So that was the era. So that once that shoe came out, it brought that jacket for shoes back out again. And I had to walk home from school then, and it was still, if you go back and look at the cost of $124.99 in 1995, I mean,
hey, that's about the $220 we spend now on them.
Right. That's the equivalent to in today's economy of having a $220. And at 13 years old, my mom didn't want me to have something that was that flashy, knowing I probably went to the toughest middle school in that.
Absolutely.
Knowing to walk home, she was really protecting me. So the next year when I was in high school, I was a little older. I had a growth spurt and, things were different. She gave me the liberty to have something like that, because it wasn't, a danger for me anymore. So
absolutely. Yes. I'm going to you now, Gonzo. What's the first pair of J's you remember getting?
I was probably like 8 years old. I think I had the 4s. They were white and gray.
Oh, the white and cements. Yeah, nice.
Those were my first pair of Michael Jordan gym shoes.
Nice. All right, Mike Skills.
I got 2, and one of them was a hand-me-down. I had a best friend who we had a mutual friend. It was the rich kid in the neighborhood. Like, first of all, this is after moving to Houston and living in the suburbs. So I grew up around a lot of kids that had cake.
Oh, yeah. Mike Skills is from Chicago.
So I was born on the south side of Chicago, but I grew up in Spring Branch, west side of Houston. So this one kid, I'll never forget, his name was Grant. Rich kid, had everything, had a Diamondback bike, had regular Nintendo, had the first Sega before he had everything.
Super Nintendo.
He had it. So he had the fire red 4s and Nike Air on the back, everything. And he had grown out of them. He was like, I don't want them anymore. So he gave them to my friend Timmy right in front of me. And I was like, man, I want those. And Timmy put his foot in and his foot was too small. Like he tried to walk around in them, almost tripped. And he was like, nah, they too big for me, Mike. You try them on. Man, I tried them J's on. They fit like a glove.
Yeah.
Take them. Man, I wore them J's. I went home. Timmy's my Facebook friend to this day. Like, I went home, I took out the toothbrush. I was sitting there, I took the laces out, put them in the washing machine, everything. So that was my first pair. And then later on, like a few months later, my mom was like, you know what? I'm going to get you your first pair that's yours, brand new. And my brother actually took me to the mall and I got the black and cement 5s. And that's still my favorite. And to piggyback on something that Byron said is like during that time, if you had Jordans, it was a status symbol. Yep. So to walk around as a kid with Jordans on, you had to have a hood pass or you had to know somebody. Like I had 2 older brothers. So no one in the neighborhood would mess with me because they'd be like, yo, he got the new Jordans on. Be like, yo, chill. That's Zach and Earl's little brother.
Hey, real quick, Mike, I'm glad you said that because now these kids, you got the 11s, you got the 3s. Back then, they were just the new Jordans.
Yeah, and the thing about it, kids today don't know how good they got it because I'm going to keep it all the way 100. So 1990, the 5s come out, All-Star Weekend. I wear them to school. I got a red starter bull.
Oh, shit.
I got a black and red Bulls hat, black jeans. I got a Chicago Bulls t-shirt. I go to elementary school. I get sent to the principal's office. First period. I'm in the principal's office. They're like calling my mom, talking about your son has gang colors on.
Oh, man.
Hey, Mike, let them know what dudes were doing for starter jackets back in the day.
Man. Kids don't understand. It's like this was when NWA had came out. Yep. So everyone was wearing Raiders jackets. They was wearing Bulls jackets.
Starter jackets.
And then the champion jerseys came out. So we grew up in the era where actual apparel first started coming out. Like when we were kids, they had t-shirts, but then they started making jerseys. They started making jackets. So if they saw you walking down the neighborhood, they'd be like, wait, You got the J's, you got the jacket, you got the hat. Oh, I'm finna get a whole new outfit off of you. And that's just how it was. And so it's like today when I see the younger generation wearing the starter jackets and the champion shirt, I just kind of laugh a little bit because I'm like, man, they don't know how good they got it. Back in the day, it used to be sweating in that. See two dudes coming down the block, you just start running, just like, no, you ain't getting my Jordans. No. Yeah, those were the days, man.
It's your turn, Pete.
We're on the topic, man. Can I say a few more?
Go ahead. Yeah, I know because this is Byron's topic right here.
Well, first of all, Howard White is live right now. I don't know if you saw him on the documentary last night. He is the VP of Jordan Brand.
That was the first thing I thought of when I saw him. I thought
of Byron.
Yeah,
homie.
That's Byron's homie.
He's also my mentor, and it's just this is when Mike and I talk about the product, it's not because, we're hype beasts or we're materialistic. It's that we love the line so much because it's great. I mean, the designer of Jordans 1 through 14, Tinker Hatfield, I had the pleasure of meeting him earlier this year. I met him at Michael Jordan's birthday party. We'll talk about that party later on. But just having the opportunity to meet him being an architect, that's the thing people don't understand. This guy went to the University of Oregon and he became an architect. He actually designed the Nike headquarters, designed the stadium at the University of Oregon. And the founder of Nike, Bill Byron, asked him to design an Air Jordan because Michael Jordan was about to leave Nike in like 88, 87.
Mm-hmm.
So, once he took over with the Air Jordan 3, they just went to a whole, just a greater dimension. But obviously, it takes more to have I'll use this comparison. I think Scoop Jackson used this. The relationship with Mikey and Nike was just like the merger of Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson. Yeah, Michael Jackson was great in his own right, but he still needed Quincy Jones. You can't have Thriller and Off the Wall and Bad without Quincy Jones.
Yeah.
So it is with like Michael Jordan and Nike and Tinker Hatfield. It was such a beautiful merger. You needed all of them. But I want to say this: my mentor Howard White, as he explained to me, they brought him in as kind of like a liaison. You saw that Michael didn't want to sign with Nike. Howard is very modest. He's very humble. So he might not tell you this story, but I've sat and talked with him about this. They brought him in and he said how he got Michael to sign, how he helped. He said, some people saw business. He said, I looked at him. He was very frustrated. He said, I saw him. I saw his mother. I saw his father. He said, they were the nicest, most humble people you can meet. And he said, I saw family. And he said, I sat and talked with him. And he said, before you know it, he signed the contract and the rest is history. So it's just like, that was an interesting story that he told me. And they're like brothers still to this day. If you watch it, I've seen him in like 3 or 4 episodes of this documentary. He was standing right next to Michael when he was making when he announced the first retirement. So I've had I've had the pleasure of being close to the brand.
He's a very nice man.
Right. And did you meet H, Mike? Did you meet him?
No, I haven't met him.
Well, I've had the pleasure. Some of my friends have met him, and it's been fantastic to just get a behind the scenes glimpse of everything they put in to make the brand what it is.
Absolutely. Gonzo, are you with us still? All right. Sorry. I know. Hey, come on, Gonzo. I know what are the first J's you had. I know you got to remember. The first J's you remember having. Because if you had it when you were 4, I get it. You're not going to remember that.
The 4s, the number 4, the Jordan 4s.
Okay.
Yeah. Man, right?
You got to go to Pete, Matt. You already went to Gonzo.
Did I go to Gonzo? I did.
Yeah.
I'm just okay, Pete. Come on now, Pete. I know you had some J's.
So for me, obviously, I wanted the 11s, but my parents didn't really they didn't understand the whole shoes, Jordan, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was the minority in where I grew up. So for me, it was, yeah. So for me, it was like, oh man, everybody else has J's and all this stuff, and I don't have it. Like I feel like I'm kind of like a geek. So
He said a geek.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I mean, I wore Nikes and stuff like that, but like it wasn't anything like that kind of in elementary school. So I remember the 13s, and I remember seeing them. They came out. I knew they were coming out in November.
That was the first shoe when Mike, like when it went like still Nike, but Jordan brand. It was the 13.
I remember November, and I remember begging my mom. I said, "Mom, this is all I want for Christmas. I just want these shoes." And she's like, "How much are they?" And I said, "Well, they're $150." And she's like,
"No."
Wait,
hey, Pete, real quick, no, $149.99.
Well,
plus tax.
She said, "Absolutely not." She said, "I am not paying for that for a pair of shoes." And I'm like, "Come on, Mom, please, please, please." And she finally, I guess, she talked to my stepdad. My stepdad's like, "All right, look, he wants them. He doesn't ask for too much. Like, let him have them." So got them. So excited, and from there, pretty much hooked. And Mike, what you talked about with the starter jackets. So I kind of got into, oh man, I want to wear the starter jackets. I want to be like everybody else, because you had to fit in and stuff like that. And I didn't, I'm going to get picked on. So my mom's like, "I got you a surprise. I got you a starter's jacket." Open it up. So damn disappointed. I'm an Eagles fan. She gets me the Green Bay Packers. I was like, this is what she said. She said,
"You a cheesehead."
Yeah. She said, "This is what they had. This is all they had at the store. This is what I got." And I'm like, damn. I'm like, I'm disappointed. She's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like,
in your mom's defense, Pete, they did have Brett Favre.
I didn't like Brett Favre. I hated Brett Favre. Okay, I didn't like Brett Favre. But not only that. So I get the Green Bay Packers, and I have to wear the jacket, starter jacket. My homeroom teacher's a Minnesota Vikings. Nate, he's from Minnesota.
Oh no!
Man. So he's tagging on me, and I'm like, damn, this is gonna be a bad year.
So you was getting B+ all year
I
instead
was getting like D-. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna show this fucking Packers fan.
Wow.
You wear Packers, I'm gonna fuck your grades up.
he was cool, though. Like, he would just jab at me and stuff. And he said, "How about them cheeses?" I'm like, I am not a Green Bay Packer fan. Why are you wearing the jacket? I'm like,
my mom got it for me.
My mom got it for me. I can't not wear it.
The only jacket I got.
Yeah, it was.
I don't want to freeze. Yeah,
it didn't make it worse. So obviously everybody knows I'm a Sixers fan. Sixers play the Lakers in the 2001 finals. So you remember the Lakers. They had the jacket and they had the hat. It was black. The bill of the cap was black and it was a white hat. All that stuff. And I'm like, this is ugly. I'm a Sixer. I was crying because the Sixers lost. My mom's like, "Guess what I got?" She goes, "They had a bunch of these on sale." She gets me the Lakers championship T-shirt. She gets me the ball cap, and I'm like, "Mom, I am not going to wear the Lakers stuff out in public."
That's the
When
team.
everybody else is wearing it, everybody else is wearing the Lakers. I thought you would be happy. I'm like, "Mom, why would I be happy we got our ass kicked in the finals against the Lakers? Why would I be happy about that?" And she's like, then she cussed me out because she was like, "You're just an ungrateful," and she had some other choice words there. But I ended up wearing it, but I didn't like it because but I wore it because I'm not.
Oh, you know what? Hey, Pete, what were you? Hey, Pete, because you're slightly younger than Byron, Mike, and you were what, 17 then? 16?
2000, around there, just about 17. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I turned 17 right after the finals.
So Byron,
you know what she did, Pete? My mom pulled the same thing on me. So when Jordan retired for Christmas, my dad sent me a Shaq jersey.
Nice.
And my mom went to Marshall's, and they had these windbreaker suits.
Oh damn!
So,
oh man!
was like, well, he got the jersey. Let me get him the windbreaker.
Oh no!
So I had the Orlando Magic.
Oh man!
And pants. And when I talk about, and this is when it was predominantly royal blue with Orlando Magic logo everywhere, like all over print. Like
that's
photo, I'm gonna send it to you. And I found out my mom went in the store and she was like, I asked them which team was more popular, and the lady said Magic. I'm like, Mom, you asked another lady which team was
no.
Not which team I like. You know I got Jordan jerseys, posters, Jordans. I got all that. Why would I? But I got it back though. when MJ came back, one of my homies, Timmy, forever coming through in the clutch. He had some Nike.
We hanging with Timmy, bro.
Man, Timmy is a real one. He had some Nike Jordan sweatpants and a Jordan t-shirt. I said, Timmy, I will give you my Shaq jersey for both of them. He looked at me and was like, you gonna give me the jersey?
Nice.
Damn.
Jersey? I was like, yep. Bring it tomorrow. Next day, school, I laced him with it. He was so, man, he ain't never been so happy. I was so happy. So you had to finesse that.
That was a win. That was a win-win trade because both parties were happy.
This whole time you telling me you and Timmy friends, dog. I think you was taking advantage of him, dog.
But
me and Timmy were best friends because,
hey, how could he take it? Timmy was happy. There is no taking advantage.
I'll say this.
Shaq was the man. So he had the Shaq jersey free.
I'll say this though, like my mom, like after I really started getting into Jordans and stuff like that, could buy them myself, working at the movie theater and all that, because that's what I would spend my paycheck.
I'm not spending $150.
No, my mom, but she would surprise me now and then, and get stuff. So I will say that. The funniest thing is it has nothing to do with Jordans, but my dad was like so happy to tell me that he got his first pair of basketball shoes. Y'all will never guess what basketball shoes he got. I was in tears on the floor laughing so hard. He got the Hakeem Olajuwon Spalding shoes. And he was so excited. They were like white. I think they were white and black, and a little bit of red, had a little red in it.
Yeah, it was the Hakeems.
Yeah, I was laughing so hard. He was rocking those things with jeans like he was the shit. And I'm like, Dad,
come on, Byron.
Nobody wears Spalding.
Pete, I got to look since you brought that up. Okay, so when I got them 12s, when I got them taxis, right? My little brother had this thing. Every time I got a pair of Jordans, like,
hold up, are we talking about Aaron or are we talking about Brenton?
Brent.
Okay.
Every time I got some Jordans, he always convinced my mom to buy him that same shoe.
Yeah.
It was around Christmas time when I got them taxis. So my brother was like, Mom, I want some too. She's like, I ain't buying them. Like, she's like, buy them money. I just paid $34.99 plus tax. So my sister was still working at Payless.
Oh, damn.
Oh, no. She got it in the dream. She got in the Hakeem shoe.
The one that she told me, she's like, Byron. And she says this. She said, she says, my other brother, Aaron, she's like, Byron, I'm going to buy Aaron and Brent the Elijah ones. I was like, no. I said, no.
Don't do it.
But it was crazy, though, because my dad would rock those with jeans like he was a shit going out. And I'm like, Dad, just please walk ahead of me. Like, keep going.
Yes.
Yeah, and then my mom, and then she bought them the Hakeems.
Damn.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to buy. She said, they're nice. They're this. Because, she's seeing them every day. I was like, please don't buy them.
Spalding.
You know what I'm saying?
He was rocking the dreams.
Please don't do it. Man, she brought some Hakeem.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep this really short, but Byron knows this. Like, I've actually been wearing J's since I was in kindergarten. Like, I had the ones. I don't remember it, but my dad, because there was something with my foot, and they had asked the doctor, like, what are the best sneakers? And they honestly said they were like the Air Jordans from Nike. But the first ones I actually I remember, like, I've seen pictures where I had the 3s on, the 4s. I slightly remember having the 5s and the 6s and the 7s. The one, I told this to Byron the other day, the one that I remember going to get. So I had the Olympic 7s. So I didn't get the Cardinal 7s, but I was going to get the Cardinal 7s. Yeah. So we go to not West Oaks Mall, Town and Country Mall in Houston. Mm-hmm. And I go in because I'm going, and the dude in there, his name was Reggie, cool ass dude for like 2 or 3 years. That's who I bought my sneakers from at the Foot Action, or not Foot, Athlete's Foot. It was the Athlete's Foot I know. So I go in, and Reggie's telling my pops, like, why are you buying him these? My dad's like, what are you talking about? He's like, the new ones are coming out in like a few weeks. I waited. I remember I went in there to get that Aqua Air Jordan 8. It had the strap on it. Man, I was so excited to have those. I was the first one at Petrosky Elementary. I was the first one with the 8s. I remember having the Bordeaux 7s, and I was the first ones with those in the school. But I remember going into the store to buy the 8s. That's why I'm telling that.
And that's the thing that's different, that was special about our era, was like you had to be the first one. And you see a lot of celebrities and people do it now.
Yes.
It's like you had to be the first one.
I got a story for you, though. Remember,
people had them.
Remember back then, the 3s, the 4s, the 5s, and the 6s had the visible air unit, the little air system, right? And you could see it. And remember, if you had a smaller foot, it didn't like it was there, and everybody said, "Oh, you got the fakes." You remember that? So I remember this. I'm at school, and I'm in 4th grade at the time when the Bordeaux 7s come out. I go in there. I'm the first one in the school to have them, and the first dude looks at me. Those are fake.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, son. These don't have a visible air unit, and they did. Everybody remembers the 7s. They had it in there. It was a Nike Air unit, but this is when they covered it up. It wasn't visible, and I had to break it down for him because I asked the dude at the mall. I asked Reggie, or was it Reggie? I think Reggie was the 8. Whoever I bought the 7s, like I remember distinctively asking. I was like, wait a second, are these fake? Because they don't have these. Like, no, the air system's there, but they covered it up this year. And all those who are our age, y'all remember, if you didn't have a visible air unit, you had the fakes. And they weren't fake, but that's what we were.
Or you had a small foot.
Yeah.
You had a small foot.
There were no fakes.
You know what?
There were no fakes back then, though. We didn't have fakes.
You know what? We never.
There were knockoffs, though. There were those XT 9000s.
But there were no fakes. If you got a jump man on your sneaker, there was no fakes.
Right.
What's your favorite? I know Pete said his favorite on Twitter.
Oh, my favorite, man. Honestly, it depends on my.
I didn't say his. We need to do that before we move on to the next
step. Let me go. Let me just go real quick. For me, it really depends on my mood. So I can't give you one specific.
Come on now, you got really one set pair.
No, I honestly can't. Byron will tell you this, right? It's true. It really depends on my mood.
Kids, he can't choose one that he loved the most. He got to love them all equally.
No, it's not that. Like, if a gun pointed to my head.
Wow.
If a gun's pointed,
I can't let you do it because ain't nobody gonna shoot you to ask you this. If they do, it's something right, bro.
Well, if I had,
they gonna be like hand them over. That's what
it's tough for me, honestly. If I had to pick one. It would probably be the Fire Red 3.
All right.
Wow.
The Fire Red 3.
Yeah.
Byron, you know I love that sneaker. All right, Mike.
I got Metallic 5.
Okay. Which one? The black or the one that just came out? The black and metallic.
Black.
Okay.
OG black and metallic.
Byron.
What about Pete?
Byron's got mine right behind him, so I'm good.
Go ahead, Pete. Go ahead.
Exactly.
That one right there. Okay, there you go. That color, right, Pete?
Yes. Those are the ones that I wanted in my. There was no way I was.
What about the Space Jam?
Not as much. I just like the white better, but I mean,
that's fair.
I will say this was one that's most sentimental for me because it was the first ones I was able to get out of my paycheck was the 17s.
That's
remember
fair.
The ones with the wizard?
Yeah, I remember. Wait a second. Real quick, Pete, you had the briefcase ones?
I had the briefcase ones.
Nice.
$200.
Yes.
Plus tax. Yeah. At Nike Town.
And mind you, this is $200 back in 2002.
Right. That was that. I spent my paycheck from the movie there. My mom was like, "All your money's gone," and I'm like, "I don't care."
Hey, you know what? Yeah.
What you say, Pete? You was like, "But I got them J's though."
Exactly. No, and the funny thing is dudes at school was like, "Hey, let me borrow them," and I'm like, first of all, you ain't putting your stank ass feet in my shoes. Second of all, go get your own pair." Like, no.
Yeah. All right, Gonzo.
Let me borrow those.
My most memorable shoe, and this is when I was older. It's an 11, but I like the prom nights. That's my favorite one.
Okay.
Nice.
Mine is a 3-way tie between.
Oh, then you were getting on me.
The threes.
Black and cement.
11.
Concord.
You gonna say the ones?
Pictured here is the black and red infrared 6 because my little brother Brent had it, and I had the baby shoe since I was like, I don't know. I had it up until like I showed them to you, right, Matt?
Hold up.
I think like I
want y'all to see my closet, so I got to stop this cam.
I think I got rid of that shoe. I don't remember. My mom might have given it to charity or something, but it's a 3-way tie between those.
Matt's trying to do security reasons, so don't nobody break in his house. Hey, he collects J's and all that. So hey, I do the same thing. Anybody that follows Matt on Instagram and Twitter, you can see his Jordan collection.
Every week, Matt's profile is just, I got him.
Yeah. All I heard was Air Jordan 6. All I heard was don't. Hey, so here we got the box.
The key for the under the mat.
And I have not worn these yet. Come on now. Yeah, I can do it too, Byron.
Nice.
I can do it too. And you can see the factor. I haven't worn these yet.
That right there, that might, yeah.
Nike Air on the back. It's
that right there.
You can see that swoosh.
That probably started it for me. I was in the third grade when those came out,
Sorry. Yeah. I don't usually do that live. I do it when we're off live, but
yeah.
But I had to do that for Byron.
Well, Pete, on Twitter, you said the 3.
11s, 3s, and the 1s.
Okay. Hey, we had a lot more stuff to talk about today, but I knew this would go a little longer when we got into the Jays because that's important to all of us, especially if you're our age. Mm-hmm. Like that was just a part of growing up for us. Like when you guys were talking about getting jumped, I remember, and I'm going to leave us with this story before we jump and we bring in some more of our guests. So I'm in third grade. Was it third? No, second grade. It was second grade, and I had. So what would have been second grade, Byron? Would that have been in the 3s or the 4s?
No, second grade was the 5s.
That would have been the beginning of the year would have been the 4s, though.
Yeah, that would have been the fiery 4.
So I had the 4s, and this dude used to chase me like after school, and I'd run away. He was a fifth grader. I was in second grade. He was trying to take my J's. I just hauled ass. Boom. He didn't catch me. So I go to my buddy's house around the corner from me down the street, like a 3-4 minute walk. And I'm in there. We're about to play Nintendo. We're about to play Super Mario Brothers. And the dude who was always chasing me down for my J's walks in. And I will never forget this. My buddy's like, no fights, no fights, no fights. After that,
what time it was.
Me and the dude were cool. It was because he knew it's like, okay, we got a mutual friend. All right, we dapped up, and that was it, man. But I did get chased once for my J's.
Byron, why'd you chase him like that?
No, I didn't know Byron. We didn't even go. Hey, Byron. Hey, this is when I went to Cummings.
That wasn't far from where I went to school.
Yeah, I went to Cummings.
Me and Matt lived in the same neighborhood for you.
I went to Cummings in second grade. I went to Chambers in third grade. Then I went to Petrosky in fourth and fifth grade.
Aaron went to Chambers when you were there. He was going there.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Where did you go, Byron?
Smith Elementary.
Okay. I think that's going to be enough now. I know we had a couple more things, but man, the Jordan topics, the Kobe stuff.
You can throw it into the second part. It don't matter.
Yeah, I'll throw some things.
Wait, but can we talk about this because I have this jersey on? Can we talk about Clyde versus Mike or no?
Oh no, you know what? Yeah, we'll do that. Well, we're gonna keep it quick though. I got to keep it quick because we got Sean, we got Charlie, and Mike. So I want to keep this quick because that is important. Byron, go ahead because we know at that time. Remember, everybody. For those who don't know, if you watch, like those who watch the documentary, like you guys know now, but even back then, like I definitely remember it was like Mike and Clyde were considered almost equals.
Right. And so the big thing in the documentary was that, basically it was to show off and show that he was better than Clyde. One thing I'll say, and Byron, you take it, but Clyde, what people don't know is Clyde was hurt during that season going into the playoffs. He wasn't 100%. And I just wanted to bring that up. I don't think that Clyde would have overtaken Jordan, obviously, but I think it would have been a better series had he been 100% healthy, not without the knee injury.
Right.
But go ahead, Byron.
I want to say he's from Houston, so of course we love him like how Gonzo and them and Matt and and Mike love like Derrick Rose and Dwayne Wade. He was a great athlete. I feel like he's very underrated. Mm-hmm. I think if they beat the Bad Boys in '90, then Michael probably feels very differently about facing him and the comparisons. I think he definitely had the opportunity. He had a good team in the late '80s, early '90s, but he just couldn't get the job done until he joined forces with Hakeem. That's not to say that he wasn't great. Even as a little kid, I knew he wasn't as good as Michael Jordan. I knew better than that, but he was definitely a great athlete. That was a great series. They still win 6. that series almost went 7, and I think we need to give Clyde some credit to that. But
hey, the man averaged like 25, like 8 and 5 or something like like he was great in the finals.
But come on, it's kind of like how we talk about Kobe and McGrady. But come on, man, don't give Mike after the third 3. You should have been all in there like this. Make you know.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Hey, Gonzo. Hey, what were your thoughts on the whole Clyde and Mike thing?
I think it was an unfair comparison, and I kind of feel how Mike felt. Like, how you gonna disrespect me comparing me to Clyde? Like, you've seen what I've done. Like, I've won the MVP, the dunk contest, the defensive player of the year in the same season.
And Gonzo's not saying. Here's the thing: Gonzo is not saying Clyde was trash. Clyde was great.
He was good, just not at that level.
He's not there.
He just wasn't at the level of. He just wasn't at the level of Michael Jordan. But I'm gonna give Clyde this. If you took Clyde and put him in this era, he'd average 28, 29 points.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, fuck, he averaged 28, 27, 28 a season or two back then.
And so it's not the short Clyde, because Clyde's a great player.
He's just not Mike.
He's just nobody's Michael Jordan.
Nice. Mike skills.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way. I mean, at the time, Clyde was considered a great player, but he wasn't on that level just because individually he hadn't achieved what Jordan had. The comparison was they were both shooting guards. They were both high flyers. They would come down the lane, dunk on you, put you on a poster, etc. But I got a backdoor. Gonz and Byron basically saying that he didn't have the individual awards and accolades that Jordan had to be on that level. The only thing Clyde did have was, maybe he led his team to the finals first, but he didn't win it. So that was kind of this thing. The one thing that I wish they would have touched on it for a couple years, Sports Illustrated was predicting Michael versus Clyde in the finals. And it didn't happen in 91 because Magic, they pulled that upset. But in 92, it finally happened. So it was a nice matchup, but we know who won that.
Yeah, absolutely. Pete.
I mean, like I said, I just feel like, Clyde just wasn't at that level. Regardless, if you look at the teams, I feel like the 89-90 version of the Blazers was better than the finals version, and across the board. I mean, with Clyde and the knee injury, he wasn't going to be able to keep up, on the defensive end. So he did all he could offensively. There just wasn't enough help around him, I feel like, to compete with Scotty and Jordan. So
absolutely. I gotta agree with all this. I don't want to jump in and go too, because we've gone a little longer than I thought we would, but I should have known, having Byron, we talk about the Jays and all that stuff. I should have known this was gonna happen. And then especially with Kobe.
It's important because the Jordans, they were a moment in history that changed shoes. Before that, shoes were just shoes.
Yeah. And look what look at this. What we still have today.
They still are now.
Yeah, exactly.
This man has been in Chicago Bulls for 22 years.
Right.
The first one came out in 1985, and look at people lining up in a pandemic still
in Atlanta. Mind you, in Atlanta, because they've opened everything up.
But that's what I'm saying. Beforehand,
they were lined out outside the mall in the parking lot to get the fives on Saturday.
Yeah, but before Jordans, they were just shoes. People were standing in line for Chuck Taylors.
Never. And
people was not standing in line for Adidas shell toes or pro models.
Never.
Or Puma Clydes.
But check this whole thing out. You gotta look at this. All these years later, it's still such a hot commodity because of how great, Michael was, how great the design was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We haven't quite seen this before. I don't think we'll see it again. And Nike was going under. He saved Nike.
Mm-hmm.
And made Nike what it is.
He made Nike what it is.
Nike was a running shoe company. Did nobody miss Nike?
Mm-hmm. Being Philip Knight's will somewhere.
Yeah.
That man.
Hey, good stuff, fellas. I gotta go. First, I'm going to you, Byron. No, don't give me this sign off. Don't give me that sign off piece of shit. Where can they find you at, Byron?
You can find me at Radrem, RADREMM on Twitter and Instagram.
Nice. Outstanding. Mike Skills. Let the people know.
You can find me on all platforms as Mike Skills, MIC, Skills with an S.
And for those who are watching on YouTube, you can see it in his little name there. Gonzo, where can the people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Greg Griffiths 137.
Nice. All right. So we are now going to switch this over. We got a couple guests here. Charlie will be in soon, but we got my guy, Coach Mike Morris. We got his brother Sean. What's going on, fellas?
What up, though?
Yes. All right, Pete, take over.
All right, so we got a couple questions that we didn't get to, obviously, because the Jordan stuff went a little long.
Real quick. I hate to interrupt. I'm
sorry. No, you're good, man. You want to hit them with the Jordan?
Yes,
too?
I got to.
All right, go ahead.
Keep it long. I know, Sean, you were not the Jays were not your thing, right? I get that. But was there one that you thought was dope? Come on, man. There had to have been one.
I can't lie. The shoes are all crazy dope. I love them, but I just cannot. I felt it was disrespectful to wear Jordans in the house.
Okay.
Like,
I get that.
I never had the urge to go, hey, Dad, I need you to go buy me something.
So really, it was Pops. It was Pops. I get that. Hey,
I have a favorite. The 11s are the best shoe to ever be made.
Okay. Oh, ever. Nice.
Ever. The 11s. Nice. The 11s and the AIs are my two favorites.
Nice. All right, Mike, come on.
I just never bought them.
Even if you, because of what Sean said with Pops, I know you have a favorite at least.
Yeah, I ain't gonna go out like Sean, but
go ahead, put it out there.
We had a whole bunch of different stuff. Like when we were younger, Pops actually bought us, I think it was the 3s or the 4s, but we were like young. It was the first time we ever had some loot. Like we was in a nice new house. And it was just 1 year, got us a pair. 1 year, I actually bought a pair.
Oh, the internet, the Gremlins got him. The Gremlins got him. We're gonna go back to Mike, but Pete, take over here. We'll get back to Mike's answer there when he comes back. Hold up. Is he back? There he is. Okay.
I don't know what the fuck just happened.
No, you're good. You're good. The Gremlins happened.
Yeah, 7th grade, I got him to buy me a pair.
Nice.
And then somebody stole them at school.
Hey, real quick though, Mike. What pair was it though?
Taxis.
Oh, you and Byron. Yes, I like it. The 12s. Nice.
Honestly, they weren't even my favorite ones. I was just like, I wanted to get them. I was like, oh, these is all right. They look nice, but then I got them on my feet and they look like boats. My feet were huge. But the ones that I'm not sure why they took off from me were the 10s.
Yes, that's a very underrated model. Absolutely. Yeah. I had the steel 10s when I was in 7th grade.
Yeah. So I think they came out before we got to Utah, but Brian Russell had a pair.
Yeah.
And
okay.
Was it 7th grade or 8th grade? He had them at his house. We were at his house and they were just off in the closet somewhere being goofy. I was like, hey man, can I have these? Because we were the same size.
So wait a second. You had the same size as him in 7th grade?
Yeah, damn. 7th grade, I had a size 12.
Oh, that's the size I wear now.
All right.
Damn.
Oh man, please. I skipped. My shoe size was the same as my age up until 14, where it skipped to 15, and that's where I stayed.
Nice.
Like me and my dad had the same size shoe, so I used to just go up in his closet.
What's yours is mine.
Smart. No, that's smart.
Nice.
Until he sees you, like, yo, these look kind of new.
Why
are they on your feet?
Right.
Yeah. So nice. Brian let me have them because they were old by then.
Yeah, because you said you were in 7th grade when they. So you're 2 years younger than me. So damn, they came out when you were in 5th grade because I was in 7th grade when they came out.
Mm-hmm. He was like, "Yeah, I ain't gonna wear these joints. We got to play up against Jordan." I was like, "Cool, So I used to rock them when I would play outside. They never made it into a gym, but that was, matter of fact, this crazy shit. That year we had this 3-on-3 tournament in middle school. I wore them when Sean's little punk ass team beat my team.
What? Sean, you got him, Sean?
I was cold back then, man.
He said back then.
I didn't miss.
You know what's crazy? I bet that fucker is still cold and don't miss.
Dude, he can act like he was cold and don't miss.
About 2 years, man.
Nah,
Hey, it's
calm
crazy
down.
because everybody looks at Sean. Oh man, he's only like 5'11", 5'10", 6 foot. He can put it between his man. That motherfucker shoot his ass off.
I'll give
Hey,
him
Sean,
credit
you're the
because he
one
turned out to be a
dude-
really good player.
You are the one dude I would have never wanted to get on the gun with.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
Hey, it would have
Can't
been.
beat me on
Hey,
that.
hey, it would have been close. Let me
Can't beat
guess.
me on that.
Let me guess. You're like 90 out of 100 every time.
I'll tell you. So one day we're doing drills, shot 53s, made 48.
Damn.
Yeah. Hey, we would have went at it. My best on the gun was like 91 out of 100. We would have went at it. It would have been fun. Like, I would have
Right.
never shot it because he would have been the one to make me look bad.
Y'all both got me 83 out of 100 is the best
Damn.
I've got. I mean,
That conversation's not for me.
Hey,
Nah,
but you
yeah,
would
you
just come
stay out
down
of
and
that.
you would have dunked. You would have came down and dunked on all three of us though.
yeah, I was gonna say I can't. I would just let that shit
Speak for
happen.
yourself, man.
I never got dunked on like by him. I got dunked on in high school and practice.
I've got dunked on in high school, but
Not by. Look, if Mike was coming down the lane, I'm getting the fuck out of the way. Shit, fuck. If you came down the lane, Sean, I'm getting out of the
Yeah,
way. I ain't letting you
that's
posterize my ass. Fuck that.
I think for me, like I'm skinny, but like I was already 6'4.5", 6'5", so I had to guard all the centers. So it's big dudes like Jabari Davis that went to Tennessee, played running back. He just spins off and dunks right on me. I fall to the ground. I'm like, how am I supposed to do? He's like 240. I'm like 165, 170. There ain't no way. And so,
nice.
you know,
Nice. All right, Pete, take over.
but jumping into the questions that we didn't get to, obviously Tony Kukoc got brought up, to episode 5. Do you guys think, either one of you can go first? Do you think that it was Jerry Krause's kind of way of edging on Scotty and Mike with hyping up Tony Kukoc, or do you think he really believed, Tony Kukoc was the next coming of a NBA star?
I think it was a little bit of everything. I mean, is there some kind of reverse psychology in there? Everybody knows Mike is ultra competitive. He's got to make stuff up to give him an edge. Is it possible Krause is smart enough to just say random crazy stuff to get under Mike's skin because he knows he's going to go out there and try and prove him wrong, no matter what he says? But I can see it. I can see it being that way. But I'd like to think that Krause is smarter than they're letting on in the documentary because everything is making Mike look
right. It's from Mike's point of view, he approved everything. Yeah. So
right. So I mean, I think there's a little bit of everything in there. It can be that way. It sucks for Tony that he got caught in the middle of it, but I mean, I think eventually it made him a better player. I think it gave him a preview of what he can expect. So and luckily he was able to get on Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen's team because I mean they were going after him. I ain't never seen anything like that.
And that was the Olympics too.
Yeah,
they didn't have to go that hard.
They didn't have to win
because
they did.
That team, like
Mike said, yes, they did.
Yeah. To me, it was more Jerry starting to get that ego in the way.
Yeah,
looking out because even then he's got quotes talking about it's an organization. They won a championship. This is a great organization. He kept throwing that out there. It's a really good team, but we're a greater organization. And always trying to figure out a way to like make it about something bigger than the guys that are actually scoring the points. And started picking up the Tony thing because he was like, well, if I can get Tony to come over here, if Tony agrees to come over, they might try to stiff Scottie Pippen. That's just my idea.
Right.
So the fact that Tony wasn't coming as soon, because he got drafted in 90. If Tony wasn't coming, they got to make sure they keep Scotty to keep what they have going, because that's the baseball guy in Krause.
Nice.
Like I'm gonna keep what I got going just in case. I got a guy farm system. Oh, we lose him. I'm all right with losing him because I'll bring my farm guy over because he's thinking he's gonna be the next left Magic. I didn't believe that, but he was still a good player.
Yeah, didn't they call him the Pink Panther, the waiter?
Something.
All those nicknames. Yeah.
Nicknames that they did.
They gave him so many nicknames. I remember, I don't remember him getting drafted, but I remember right before he came over, and I was like, the way they're talking about this guy, man, they're talking like this dude really is like that next dude. And he was cold.
Yeah.
Like I say today, like he would have been better in today's game. I know when Mike,
I think he would have been better. Yeah.
With the way the game is played now, I think it would have suited him because of the positionless game. 6'9", 6'10", can handle the fuck out of it. He can pass it, can shoot the three. He'd have been a borderline all-star, maybe a perennial all-star in today's game, probably. But that dude was cold, man. And he had balls his rookie year, and I get it now with Scotty why he was so pissed the last play wasn't drawn up for him, because I never knew. But when you watch the doc, when you see the comments Krause made, and you're like, okay, I get why Scotty was mad in '94 against the Knicks, but Tony made the shot. That dude had balls. Yeah. So you knew he was about that life. He wasn't scared.
Yeah, and being over there, middle of a war-torn country. You mad at me on the basketball court? Absolutely. Doesn't seem so bad. He caught hell in the first game. Yeah. But everybody keeps skipping over.
They don't talk about the second game they played, though, when Tony had the 16 and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, he got loose a little bit.
Fit the narrative.
Yeah. They still got busted by 30.
Absolutely. And this is what's crazy, though. Like, overseas is a really physical game. Like even back then, they don't call it soft over there. Like that's what I never got. Like it's like it was physical over there, but they're acting like this dude's soft as tissue.
Well, that was the thing. They called all the Euros, no matter who it was, no matter where they came from, they were soft.
Yeah.
These people are coming from, they're dropping bombs on their countries before they come over here.
And you played over there. Like, did he? I'm sure he told you these dudes ain't that soft.
Right.
Oh yeah. When he played in Greece, same thing. Because they were supposed to be the second best league in the world by then, but it was just like, these aren't soft dudes. They're just not as talented.
Right.
We're the best league in the world because we're the most talented, but they're physical
really
too. They don't just brawl.
Recently, they've stopped really calling them soft when they get over here.
Oh yeah, because we know how
they busting their ass now.
And the league, but the league is soft now here, and it's physical as fuck
over there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you come over here, it's like, okay, this shit. Because I think Luka said it. This is kind of easy.
Yeah, he said it's easier to score in America than it is over there.
Right.
You can't touch them.
Because if you remember, it really didn't start until late 90s, early 2000s with all the influx of the international guys. And then guys came in like Dirk getting dominated. And it's like, wait, the speed of the game, like all this stuff, it may not work out.
You got to think, like, when Dirk came in the league, there were still a lot of Hall of Famers in the league. Right. I mean, even in the documentary, you see it in the All-Star game.
Oh, yeah.
Those teams were.
Hey, Sean Kemp was on that All-Star team.
I forgot all about Sean Kemp.
Yeah,
I didn't know he was an All-Star with the Cavs.
Yeah, that first year he was cold in Cleveland.
Before the 50
the lockout. The lockout was what killed him. The blow-up.
Yeah. Someone on Twitter was like, "Wait a second, is that Antoine Walker?" And I had to respond like, "Wait, Antoine Walker was cold."
Yeah, he made 2 All-Star.
Yeah, he was cold.
Teams. Yeah.
It was tough.
Looking at they touched on the social justice part of it with Jordan. Obviously we know the Craig Hodges part of things.
He got blackballed.
Blackballed.
He did.
Now, saying that, do you think Jordan was in the right? In your opinion, do you think Jordan was in the right to kind of stay back and out of things, just based on kind of the thinking back at that time and where things were? You didn't have social media. You didn't have your own platform to.
And Chris Jackson, Mahmoud Abdul Rauf.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, how old was Mike then? He was 20-something.
He was 29. He was 29 when he retired the first time.
I mean, he's not a politician. All he knows is basketball.
Right.
We praise him because he's a basketball player and he does these amazing things on the court. Nobody's ever seen him with a president or anything like that.
Right.
Ask the man. He even said it himself.
He skipped the one first night out to go to the gangster.
He's in a bubble. Right. He's in a bubble. I mean, all he knows is Michael Jordan plays basketball and sells shoes and sells everything else. He donates, but he's not. I mean, he's never ever been outspoken politically. So why would he go into an area where he's not gonna win? We all know Michael Jordan doesn't get into anything unless he thinks he can win.
Right.
No matter if he's tossing a coin against the wall.
Because on Bill Simmons, like just I think it was yesterday, maybe they did it yesterday, but it popped up on YouTube today. Him and Ryan Russillo were talking about just that, and he was like, "You got to remember, if Mike endorses the candidate from North Carolina, and that guy loses, Mike's thinking about that. I just endorse someone who lost. You know what I mean?"
Man, I don't see anything. Michael Jordan, a politician, that doesn't sound that good.
No. Especially back then. Now it's a little different. But back
that guy wasn't going to win in North Carolina anyway.
And remember this. Hey, think about this. What player back then was doing this? None.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
None.
And on top of that, dude lives in Chicago. He's taking all of this on the word, like over the phone from his parents. And he's going to put himself out on the line for somebody he's never even met. I just didn't see that happening. And
Mike likes to gamble, but he don't like to gamble that much.
And that's a business decision too. When you
exactly.
Right. That's going to make the brand.
And that's where the big quote, man. Yeah. Republicans buy shoes too.
Yeah.
And
it's true.
Yeah. You can't be mad at him. Like, who's walking around like asking Michael Jackson or Prince? Who they voting for? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He's on that level with both of them dudes, probably bigger than Prince at the time.
Ahead of Prince. Michael Jackson was probably right there with him, and Mike were probably neck and neck.
Right. You don't know whether Mike was Democrat or Republican.
I'm just saying, like in '91, before it was like global.
I had no idea what Michael Jackson was, but
exactly. You know, which interests are you going to put? And it's not your business for me to come out here and tell you what my interests are in terms of this election.
It's crazy about this because now, you know, it was always like, you don't talk politics, you don't talk church, you know, it's your business. But they wanted Mike. They're criticizing Mike because of what happened now. Like, it's a different world back then. They got to realize that was, when was it that the guy was running in North Carolina? 91, 92, 20, almost 30 years ago? Yeah. Well, 30 years ago, basically. It was a completely different world and just climate back then.
He wasn't going to win.
No, it was lose-lose.
Right.
And there's the thing about it even now.
If he endorses the dude and the dude wins, now you got people, oh, you endorse the Democrat, you know. It would lose.
I feel like now it would be worse because you got social media.
Yeah, it would be dead.
They'd be eating Michael Jordan up.
Yeah.
But think about it now, though. You're asking Michael Jordan about a governor in the state where he's from, but not living in currently. Are they asking LeBron about the governor of California right now?
LeBron lives in Cal, but are they asking LeBron about the governor of
in Ohio? Yeah, asking LeBron about nothing except for when he's coming after Trump,
right?
Which everybody seems to be doing.
Yeah. We don't got to take it that far, eh? If y'all follow me on social media, y'all know where I stand on that, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's about his business.
Worth the time.
Yeah.
So, all right, we talked about Isaiah and the Dream Team a little bit last week. I'm going to throw this out there just as a hypothetical. If you had the opportunity to replace somebody on that Dream Team, would you do it? And if you would, who would be the replacement that you'd put on there?
If I could take one person off, it'd easily be
Christian
Laettner. Yeah, I think that's. And I would put Shaq on there.
That's true, because I think they said they wanted one collegiate guy, so it had to. But you know what? Someone posted this the other day on Twitter, and I was like, wait, had they put Shaq on the team, man, David and Patrick may have had to sit the bench. So they couldn't go there because people would have been like, wait a second, why aren't y'all playing Shaq?
Christian Laettner, at the time, it made sense. Like, Laettner was the king of college for the entire time he was there.
Yeah.
Nah, he was Shaq, especially, but in college.
Christian Laettner, you could argue, is the greatest college player ever.
And it seemed like the Olympic game was going to be more catered to what Christian Laettner was able to do, but he still wasn't one of them dudes.
It was that they knew if they put Shaq on the team, Patrick and David would have been in trouble.
Might be on something because he'd have ate all of them.
Oh, man.
I would have liked to have seen, just because, like, at that point I was already in Georgia, so I would have seen Dominique. I would have liked to seen Dominique on there, but then you have to look at, like, who are you going to take off? And I'm like, I can't really take anybody off. And I saw somebody say, "Oh, we would have dumped Chris Mullin," and I'm like, "Nah, not Chris Mullin."
Like, no. I'm gonna say it. Come on, and y'all, Mike, Sean, y'all may hate me. If you were gonna take anybody off because point guard, I'd have put Zeke over Stockton. He had the 2 championships.
Nah, not for what that team needed though. Like,
Right.
No, I'm just saying it's not about need, just about who.
I see. Okay, who you?
Yeah.
Like if we're doing it based on like resume, Zeke should have been in there over John Stockton.
Oh yeah, but just nobody liked him.
Yeah,
I love Isaiah Thomas. It's just
It was everybody.
it's basically a big guys trip.
Yeah, I
So, I mean,
think
who are you gonna have the most
I
fun with?
think Charles is the only one who liked Isaiah.
I just think Charles is a happy-go-lucky guy. He likes
Yeah,
everybody.
Charles wouldn't care whoever was on there as long as he was going to do whatever he's going to do.
Let me go.
And I hear it resume wise, but you know, Stockton was that nice, clean cut, all American white guy who could get off the bus in the middle of the madness, like they said in the Dream Block.
Right.
Yeah, dude's on like has home videos walking through the square where people don't know who he is, wearing the shirt with his face on it.
I bet he loved it too.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the kind of thing you want on your team. Like he's not going to take away anybody's shine. He's going to be there for this team, even though he got hurt. You know what I'm saying? What, like a torn quad muscle or something? So he couldn't even play most of the games.
You know what's crazy? He goes to Barcelona. He's wearing the shirt. Nobody knows. And then Michael walks out, and there's this big ass fucking mural on a like a building of him.
Yeah, and he had to get up like super early to get out and be free like that because people was hounding him everywhere he was at.
And that
like,
was back in 1992.
Yes, that's crazy, man. Just to have that mega star aura when nobody even can really know where you are. Like social media, somebody can snap and be like, "Oh, he's here," and there's a pop. They're there before it happens.
I got a question real quick, and then Pete. Sorry, I had to.
You could go.
One of the things, but I was thinking about it, and Charles mentioned it last night on SportsCenter after the documentary. Remember Mike's he retires the first time, and the thought that everybody thinks like, who's going to take Mike's spot? We were all naturally thinking, okay, it's going to be another NBA player. But are y'all like, it was Tiger Woods, right?
Right.
He really was the guy who took Mike's spot.
Right.
And Charles mentioned like the 2 guys that it was Tiger and Michael.
Yeah.
Well, Tiger's the reason I started playing golf, man.
See?
I mean, it's like it's you've seen Michael Jordan and you've seen other great basketball players, but you've never seen somebody you never heard of do something so great that nobody else can do. Tiger Woods was the Michael Jordan.
And look at the ratings. Even now, if Tiger's not in the final day, nobody's watching. I bet if you
because it's the swag. It's
that Masters tournament last year. If you look at the ratings for that final day, I bet it was through the highest ratings in years.
Look how Tiger walks when he's walking down 18. Look at that. That's Jordan.
He's got
that's Jordan.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
He wears red. You watch Jordan because you know if the putt's going in, no matter how far away it is, whatever kind of chip it's got to be, that ball is going down. And somehow he's doing all that stuff.
Yeah, just the presence, you know, like with MJ, it was stuff you hadn't seen, and most people thought some of the stuff was impossible, and then just being able to carry that into off the court, you know what I mean? You weren't going to see that out of another basketball player because it would have happened in that same moment. There would have been somebody that challenged Mike when he was playing, but when he stopped. Now you got Tiger doing the same thing, stuff that 300-yard drives regularly when he first gets big.
Nobody saw that before.
Exactly. Dominating everything and winning at outrageous clips, 25%, 30%.
And remember, he's the first golfer to like lift weights and like get in real shape. Now they're all doing it. And they're still not as good as he. Like, obviously, they can beat him now because he's in his 40s. But prime Tiger, these dudes aren't touching prime Tiger.
Yeah, it's just like the influx of super athletic guards. Now everybody's got 300-yard drives and all the weights and all the technology and all that. And like they're doing it.
Everybody's Russell Westbrook and prime now.
Yeah, exactly. And Tiger Woods is jumping out with his own clubs, own shoes, own line. Basically, Jordan of golf.
In golf.
My golf shoes are Tiger Woods, man.
In golf.
And $180 for some golf sneakers.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like they're all getting their endorsements now and all the money they're getting because of Tiger, the same way dudes are getting paid in the league because of Mike. And it's just basically how it is.
It's because of LeBron, but that's a topic.
It's because of LeBron. So, hey, Sean, you're a big LeBron fan, aren't you? No disrespect. There's nothing
He
wrong.
brought a lot. He brought a lot of money to the NBA.
Oh, definitely.
This is true, but Mike made 30 million
Mike
2 years
paved
in
the
a
way.
row.
Mike
30
paved
mil.
the way.
30 mil 2
LeBron-
years in a row.
LeBron
And after
came-
98, when was the next time somebody made 30 mil for one season? After Mike.
I don't know.
Count the decade.
I would
and then-
honestly, you know who it was? I don't know if it was LeBron because he was taking pay cuts. I think Steph Curry's the first one. With
Nah,
that
Steph's the first for 40. Mike Conley was leading the league
Was
for
Mike
one
Conley
season.
get 30? Did he get 30 that year?
Because
Mhm.
LeBron James was bringing a lot of money in. That was the point.
Oh yeah. I know LeBron
Yeah.
was taking the pay cuts all those years. That's why I mentioned he could have got.
But then-
When LeBron's not in the finals, the ratings are down.
That's fair.
You
I
can
mean-
keep saying that like it just popped up out of nowhere, but before Mike took that 30, and there was nobody getting 20.
Oh, I know.
You can't get to 30
I
before
know.
20.
Because remember, he took that 1 year, and then KG got that big deal after Mike got paid.
Right.
Mhm.
He got the deal.
Shoot, yeah.
So we all know
Outrageous.
Jordan's about money, and just we got to see a little bit of the just little small bets that he would make with people throughout the documentary. Some big money bets. It was funny because the director was on Jalen and Jacoby talking about they was in the limo doing on the way to it was some I think it was the Jordan Classic, and the director of The Last Dance didn't realize it was the Jordan Classic. So Jordan was like, "Hey, I'll bet you dinner out for your entourage. If you lose, you got to pay for my entourage to go out, whatever." And he said, "I bet you between now and when we get to the arena, we won't see 20 pairs of Jordans." And they get driving down the street. He's like, "All right, good. We're on the freeway. We're good. I'm golden. We're all set." We get right there. I start seeing signs for the Jordan All-Star game. He knew he was fucked right then. And Jordan just started counting them. And he just kind of ribbed him about it. But it was pretty funny because he said Jordan knew ahead of time, calculated. He knew he was going to hit that 20. And he said that, the director was like, "I wasn't even thinking in that terms." And Jordan had already had 3 steps ahead of him.
But Mike was playing chess and everyone was playing checkers.
Yeah.
Mike was out there like, "Yeah, let me go ahead and make dinner easy tonight. I don't feel like paying."
Hey, fuck, y'all saw it with the little quarters game.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
With his head security guy in the thing, man. The dude, because remember, like in the 80s, you'd always see Mike being run, and that security dude was with him. I always wondered. I didn't know who he was. I just
That's
like
the inspiration for Martin's character right there.
Yep.
Do you guys think, just real quick, do you think Jordan had was an issue with the gambling, or do you just think, hey, it just got so much publication that because it's Jordan? If it was anybody else, do you think it would have gotten to the magnitude it did?
I'm gonna say it like Chuck said it. It's a problem if you can't afford it.
Yeah,
Charles Barkley told you.
Exactly.
Yeah, it'd be different.
That's the NBA,
He said,
man.
"My family not hurting. Family not hurting. I'm not hurting. I'm not trying to sell stuff. I got the income. What, you gonna tell me I need to go invest in something? I'm gonna do what I want with my money." And he's got lots of it.
Right.
And he told
when you get 15 ultra competitive NBA players together that are super rich, that's what happens, man. You shoot some dice, you play some cards.
Boo-ray. Yeah.
Grab a ball, you go to the 3-point line and see who misses first. I got $10. I'll keep making it to you before you miss.
That's
what happened.
And he was so competitive. Everything was
right.
That's what it said.
Example, like who was it? BJ? I think it was Will Purdue. Was there in the front of the plane, and they're playing for $1. And Mike was like, they were asking Mike, and it wasn't about the money for Mike. It was like taking your heart from you, basically.
I want to know I got
money in my pocket.
He's an alpha. He's got to be able to show his dominance over every single person that was on that plane.
We know Shannon Sharp is 100% pro LeBron, but he said something interesting. He was like, it was like, okay, I beat you. I beat you in a game. I want $10,000 in nickels or dimes, and I want you to go to the bank just to say. And they're going to ask you, why do you want this in 10,000 in dimes? Because Shannon Sharp beat me.
Yeah,
It was about that. No,
You gotta
That's
bow
hard.
down. You gotta bow down to the king.
yeah.
That's hard.
If he comes in when he's around, you gotta know and you gotta recognize
Mhm.
I'm better than you.
Like Mike said, I got a competitive problem. I don't have a gambling problem.
Exactly.
I
And I
that's-
guarantee you,
Yeah,
if whenever Mike lost, they played another game immediately after that.
that's what I was gonna get at. Like
Immediately.
he was so competitive, like, and he had so much money. Now we know he's a billionaire, but back then, I mean, the dude was worth hundreds of millions of dollars, even in probably the early '90s. And he's going and like imagine him. They're criticizing him for
His house.
going to Atlantic City and playing blackjack or whatever. So he's losing 3, 4, 5 hands in a row. I'm just assuming. And then he's like, I'm not leaving till I win a hand because of how competitive he was. Even if I lose on the day, I'm not leaving till I win a hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing that's what his mentality was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. It maybe it's some kind of mental health thing, but there's something there. Some people just like myself. I cannot stand losing at anything.
You got.
I may not say something at that moment when I'm with you, but that stuff is eating at me, man. It don't matter if it's cars. It don't matter if we're shooting some guys for playing bingo. I hate losing. I cannot stand it.
Let's say you're playing blackjack, you're playing poker with the homies, and you're just like you're down $10. If you win the last hand and win $1, okay, I'm good now because you won.
Oh yeah, like if I can leave winning, like I'm good.
Even if
I cannot
you won,
I don't care what it is. To this day, I hate.
I'm good.
You used to play video games, and like that stuff just gets me off so much. And even if we're just playing NBA 2K,
man,
I would never play Charlie Jones. NBA 2K, man.
Or Madden.
Able to jump on. Hey, if he had an Xbox or a PlayStation, I'd be at him. When I was a freshman, we used to gamble on Mario Kart. Yes. I had that attitude like you may beat me, I'm gonna beat you at least once.
I'm telling you.
Nope. We used to chop up that per diem and be like, let's roll these dice right quick.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't done it since college. I remember I was tearing it up after a game. We had a matter of fact, was that the Purdue game? We had a little party after we went crazy one day. And was like, yeah, let's go ahead and celebrate. It was that game. I had one of my teammates had like a poker table. And that was basically their dinner table. They just took whatever table they could get.
You know Brandon Pitts, right?
Yeah.
He had a poker table. He had the chips and everything.
No, we used to roll on that thing just on the felt, and I was killing it that night. I was like, well, I'm hot today. Maybe I hit the shot, get the money. All of y'all give me that. That's right. Run it. And then it's just like once you lose as that kind of competitor, I was like, you know what? I'm done with this shit here, man. This feeling right here ain't the same. Yeah. It's worse than winning. That low is lower than the high of winning. I was like, I'm cool. I'm done losing my money with this shit.
One plays the slots from time to time. Obviously not now because of the virus.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in Milwaukee. Like my cousin had an AAU tournament in Milwaukee, so my pops and I we at the casino there. Man, I dropped like $400 in like an hour and a half. I was so pissed.
Yeah, that hurt right there.
Oh man, like it wasn't like the end of the world, but I was like, "Fuck, man, that's still a lot of."
I'd have to pay to win
I'm
that
not a millionaire, like millions already, but it's like, damn, that's tough. I was pissed.
Yeah.
I had enough gumption to stop though. Like,
there you go.
When you're playing the slots, you're destined to lose.
So,
man, it's a trap.
I was on my honeymoon with my wife, and we're playing. She didn't want to gamble, so she's, like you go in there. I ended up, long story short, with like $300 winning. Well, there's this dude over at the table. He's drinking and drinking and drinking.
Uh-oh.
And next thing, I think I told you this, Matt. Anyway, he keeps going. He keeps losing. He keeps throwing money in. Then once you're out of money, you have to give your room card. So he gives his room card, and the lady's like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "Yeah, just keep playing it." Next thing you know, he's down $1,000. And his wife literally, like, he's got to be 70 years old. So his wife comes walking up, just starts chewing him out, just smacked him as hard as she could in the back of the head when she found out he put the room card down. And I'm like, man, I wouldn't even be able to. I couldn't do it. Once I'm down like lose $100, I'm like, I've got to wait till I win. I'm done. Like, I can't. I can't walk out of there like Matt. You're
Yeah, get out of there.
Hey, I stopped eventually. I was like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. So
real quick though, when I go to the casino though, I only walk in there. I don't bring my debit card, ATM, none of that stuff. I bring in the cash that I'm willing to lose. Obviously, I'm not willing to lose anything.
Smart.
Okay, this is what I'm bringing. If I lose, I can't go in because some people's like, oh, I'm gonna win the next. I'll hit a big one on the next one and I'll win everything.
That's
not
cool.
Nah, that ain't how it works.
No, it doesn't work like that.
So back going forward, we get in episode 6. Jerry Krause always has a cat and mouse game going. This time he throws out how great of a defensive player Dan Marley was. Why did
real quick, Pete? He was second team all defense that year. He was.
Yeah.
He was.
I mean, I remember. See, I kind of had bits and pieces going back because I was right. I started watching basketball a few years earlier, but I wasn't diehard till like 96 to where like I studied everything and all that stuff like in depth. But I remember Dan Marley being the one that pulled from anywhere on the court.
He was
and all that more than the defense.
He's really the first 3-and-D guy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why was it always a thing with Jerry Krause? Was it just the ego? Like, I mean, he always had something that he always had to throw at Jordan as a challenge.
Because I think he was tired of getting ragged on by them dudes. He still felt like he was super important. He was the creator of the team, of the organization. It's always about the organization. Mm-hmm. Anything to downplay how great the MVP was, the greatest player on the planet is. Yeah, man, I think Marley could be a problem, man. Who's asking you? Because I need to see him stop him first. I've never seen it. It's like when people are comparing Mike and Clyde. All right, they're similar, but don't try and sit there and tell me that anybody's as good as Michael Jordan. It's not going to happen. And you want to tell me that somebody that doesn't even like score it like that can shut down Mike, can create a problem for him both ways?
If Mike didn't think Clyde Drexler could guard him,
what you think?
Why in the world would Dan Marley?
Dan Marley was a better defender, though. I don't know.
Maybe he was. Clyde didn't really play defense, but Clyde was a better athlete. He's Clyde Drexler.
92-93. First team was Dumars, Mike, Dream, Dennis, and Scotty. The second team was Thunder Dan, Horace Grant, David Robinson, Nance, and Starks.
He was second team. But it goes down to this.
He was a good defender, though.
He's a good defender. There's a lot of good defenders. You got to be a great defender.
Here's the thing, though. In today's game, we would say, well, Dan Marley was an elite defender.
Yeah.
He would say
play hard. You can play hard and be an elite defender.
But he was really athletic.
And this is why Michael Jordan took offense to that.
Yes.
Dan Marley's white.
You're right.
You cannot put a white guy on the greatest player to ever live and think that that's going to be okay.
Even though
I hate to say it,
even Larry Bird said that.
Even though Dan Marley was super athletic,
doesn't matter.
Hey, Larry Bird will tell you he felt disrespected if a white dude was guarding him.
Right.
My thing with it,
he said Larry Bird, and Larry Bird
is white. Yeah, and look at all them dudes on first and second team. Mike went through each one of them. Like, oh, Joe Dumars' first team. All right, 35.
Yeah.
John Starks' second team with Dan Marley. Ate him up.
John Starks was his sacrificial lamb.
Mm-hmm. So you're gonna tell me somebody on the same level as John Starks, second team all defense, who I torture regularly, is gonna be able to deal with me when?
Yeah. In fairness to Starks, though, Starks was 6'4" and Dan Marley was 6'7", 6'8", so he was a little tall.
Big guy.
Man, you could have been 6'11".
John Starks, though.
Yeah.
He could have been 7 feet tall if he wanted to be.
I agree.
Right.
Mike did not care. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get this 40 piece right fast."
So
anything.
It probably gave him more confidence when they put Dan Marley on him. Rather than Kevin Johnson. Kevin Johnson was a better defender in my eyes than
no, he was. Hey, he had that low center of gravity. He could really get into Mike, and because you could do that back then. You could be physical and touch him. Yeah. Because I was watching,
and they had stretches in the finals where he's guarded him.
KJ was picking him up full court some of the time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Really getting into him.
Yeah, Dan's such a good defender. We got to put KJ on him right quick. Hold on.
Hey,
Yeah.
Dan, hey,
I was
Dan,
gonna say Jordan had flashbacks of Craig Elo when
Mm.
Marley gets
Running
Dan
time.
Marley was more athletic than Craig.
he
Elo.
was, but
Yeah, by far.
right.
Still.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna get 40 right here too. Don't matter.
And that's what
Wasn't
he
no stopping.
because what he
Mm.
averaged 41 that series.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Hey,
Very
that might
close,
be
man.
the greatest finals performance in the history of the league.
I didn't realize how close that series was.
It was just game one. Game
Yeah.
one was
Yeah.
blowout. The Suns could have won that series.
Yeah.
If
I wanted them to win that series.
If KJ would have played well, the Suns
Mhm.
because Barkley was great.
That
Yeah.
brings me to the next question. So, which was the tougher matchup? Do you think the Knicks in '93 or the Suns for the Bulls?
Suns.
Suns.
I
Barkley
because-
was an animal.
Yeah, the Knicks didn't have someone that could take over a game in the same manner. Because Barkley would get you 40 and 20
Because
and
he
be
could handle
electric.
the ball. He could handle the ball and create. Patrick can't do all that.
Knicks were Pistons 2.0, and the Bulls had already
Yeah.
seen them before.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were a
knew
great
what to do.
team.
They tried to dirty it up. Charles Oakley tried to Bogart his way through, but they just didn't have any skill players. You need skill players. Chicago.
Anthony Mason could hoop. Yes,
Yeah, Uncle Mason could hoop, dude. Cool out.
Good,
John
but he was not a skill player. What was he
But
gonna do?
he not-
Anthony
he not like
I
that.
think Anthony Mason was skilled because he could handle the ball. He could pass it. He was
Yeah.
pretty.
He wasn't scoring. You got to score
That's
points.
the-
to beat
that's the
Michael
big
Jordan.
problem.
He wasn't a scare. He wasn't a scorer, but he was like
Mhm.
to me,
Yeah.
Anthony
You
Mason.
didn't have that guy. You didn't
Like-
have Michael Jordan on your team. You didn't have a
no,
Kevin
of course
Durant. You didn't have
Nobody had
you
They,
didn't
Mike.
had,
have
they did have they
yeah,
did have
Patrick Ewing,
Yeah, they had
but he
Patrick.
had to wait for somebody else to
Yeah.
give him the ball on the block.
Yeah.
On the
Anthony,
same
to me, Anthony Mason was a more like
He was a big Lamar Odom.
no. I'd say he was like
Calm down.
I'd say like more like Julius Randle, but a better playmaker and a better defender and a way
He couldn't score. You weren't going to Anthony Mason with a minute left. You need a bucket.
No,
True.
he could score, but not like you weren't going to him to get
Not like that.
I mean,
Yeah.
get you 13, 14 a game.
Who on that team? I need a bucket. Who you going to?
I'm probably
You know where Patrick Ewing's going to be.
if I gotta
They're
go,
gonna stop that.
I'm probably going to Starks.
Starks will choke.
Yeah,
The
I'm
same
I'm-
starts that was over in Game 7.
yeah. I mean, we saw what happened. We saw what
John
happened.
Farts.
We saw what happened against the Rockets. So
Yeah.
Knicks were not mentally tough enough to beat the Bulls.
no,
All right.
I wouldn't say mentally.
I'm
tough. It
going-
was just like
Yeah.
they just couldn't put the thing in the goal. You had games in the 80s, but with the Suns, you got guys that can score it. Kevin Johnson can get you 30.
Mm-hmm.
Dan will hit some shots.
was
Hey,
good.
Richard Dumas could hoop that
Yeah,
year.
Richard Dumas.
Yeah.
Good, yeah.
He averaged like
Yeah,
15.
drugs got him though. That was
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
saying that year
That
he
booger
was
sugar.
15 a game.
Mhm.
And then you had Danny Ainge off the bench who could get a bucket. You had Tom Chambers was older, but veteran. He can score. He's savvy.
Mhm.
But you had smart players that knew how to play the
Yeah.
game. They
Phoenix,
could
Yeah.
score a little bit.
They knew how to put the thing in the goal.
You
Phoenix,
had, you had
Phoenix.
Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason, Charles Smith, Patrick. All those are the same guys. They're the big guys.
They had Doc Rivers.
Yeah, nobody stopped Jordan.
Hubert Davis
Nobody
could
stopped
the
him.
ball.
Hubert could shoot it. He couldn't score.
He didn't play much because he was a rookie that year.
Yeah.
He
I
could
think
shoot.
with the Suns, if you getting stretched out, we can run off 8-10 quick ones in 2-3 minutes.
And-
Knicks, you got to grind that out.
yeah.
right.
You can't win.
I actually think it was Simmons who said the Suns kind of ran a modern day offense when you think about it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They didn't really put a big 7-foot dominant big man out there.
Nope.
They were
Oliver
playing
Miller.
small ball.
They were running.
Yeah, and we saw what Mike did to that team.
Mark West. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. Oliver Miller was probably their best big man.
And Mike was telling you he was getting tired. He couldn't just walk it up. We got to go chase
Mike was
Charles.
tired, still killing these dudes.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was like BJ Armstrong when Pac shot that ball and started falling down, seeing it going like, oh man, and they lose that thing by 1 in Game 6.
that was crazy. Like
But I always think about how you let Michael Jordan go full court.
Are you talking about the layup? When he scored?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man,
It makes me so
yeah.
upset every time I see that.
Hey, if ever there was an Olay defensive play in the finals, that was it.
That is it.
Mm.
Nobody stops Michael Jordan.
So did Jordan?
Effort.
Jordan finished third in the MVP voting. Hakeem Olajuwon was second. Barkley gets the MVP. Did
Hard.
Barkley deserve to get it, or do you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's always been the big debate, whether Mike.
And they say the same thing about Karl Malone when they gave him that. They want Michael Jordan to get his flowers, but I mean,
you can't give it to Mike.
it.
You can't give it to Mike every single year. Just like now, you can't give it to LeBron every single year.
He probably deserved it. He played good enough for him.
Oh yeah, Charles Barkley was the best player on the best team. That's good enough for me.
Right, like he said,
and it's coming off the Olympics.
Until Michael beat him that series, Charles Barkley thought he was the best player, best thing that ever happened.
And you saw the documentary; he was talking about it. Like I felt like I was right there with Michael.
Right. I feel the same way. Nobody's ever told him different.
I'm saying that he's dominating the whole season, coming fresh off the Olympics, killing everybody in the way. There was nobody at his position that was doing all that.
Because Charles was the leading scorer on that Olympic team. It wasn't Michael; it was Charles.
Right. And took his team to the best record in the league. Yeah, you got to give it to him. Like, it's not to say that Mike wasn't great. Mike was declining or nothing like that. But Charles put on the show that said, "Hey, I'm the most valuable out here."
Just for Byron, Dream definitely deserved his votes because Dream was cold.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'll give him that. Oh yeah, I'm getting that.
He was ahead of his time.
Oh,
he might not deserve that shoe, but he deserved it.
Hey, Mike knows what we're talking. You're talking about the Spalding Dream.
Oh man,
yes,
it's so bad with that. Embarrassing. It is.
Hey.
So never really.
He was giving the speaker a 4.
No, them shoes was ugly.
They was ugly when my dad was rocking them like they was damn Jordans, and I was like, man, please don't embarrass me. Walk ahead of me, like go, keep going.
That's the MVP. That was the MVP.
I guess he thought it was the shit. And it was
hey,
no shirt.
All right, last question, and if you guys have anything else you want to throw out after, feel free. But where do you rank Charles Barkley on the all-time power forward list?
Are we counting Tim Duncan as a power forward?
Yeah.
I was going to say. I was just about to say. I think everybody here has Tim Duncan 1 as a power forward.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that.
It'd be fair. Barkley was more skilled.
Than Tim Duncan?
Yeah, more skilled. I'm talking about offensively. Offensively, he was definitely.
Well, you on your own out there, man. That limit.
You on the island by yourself on that.
Tim Duncan wasn't bringing that ball off the court, off the dribble, creating for other teammates like that. I'm talking about defensively. Tim Duncan was light years ahead of Charles, and I got Duncan number 1 for power forward. So I'm not saying. Yeah, but I think offensively, Charles was definitely, I think, a better offensive player.
Yeah.
It was close. It was close, but I'm going to go with Charles.
Number 2?
Charles.
Man.
I'm not saying number 2 power forward, but just offensively.
I would. Young Charles was, I'll give him number 2.
Really?
When he got into the league, there was nobody that could stop him. You've never seen anything like that.
Even though
he literally was on Jordan's level. He just never won a championship.
He was Zion before Zion.
Right. You never seen an athlete 6'6", built like a tank, can run fast, jump over you, dunk you, through you, jump out of the gym. Nobody ever seen that before. That power, like raw power, Philadelphia, Charles Barkley.
Number 2 power forward all time, prime Charles.
Prime.
Ooh.
Like athletically,
you got
physically.
Malone, you got Garnett, you got. I mean, if you count Moses as a power forward, you got.
Malone's not stopping.
I'm going Moses as a center, though. I'm not going.
I never seen Moses Malone play in person.
Yeah, I'm going Moses for center.
You said I saw Mo play.
You got McHale.
Yeah.
Here's the thing,
McHale is at the top of my list, to be honest. He's very skilled.
What helps guys like McHale, Garnett, obviously Dirk, they won championships.
Mm-hmm.
And when and the thing with me is when it's really, really close, the championships do have to matter.
I hear you.
The thing is, to me, Barkley's head and shoulders better than Kevin Garnett. They were very, very skilled. Kevin Garnett was guy.
But you still got to give to me the edge when it's that close, because it's not like Barkley was just way better than Garnett. Not way.
Yeah.
The only reason Charles Barkley does not have a championship is
because of Michael.
In the era of Michael Jordan. Like, if Michael Jordan did not exist in the NBA world, Charles Barkley would be
He'd be a top 10 player all time.
He'd have at least 2 championships.
Yeah.
That just came at the right time. Kevin Garnett was at the right time.
And you know what?
Yeah.
That shows how great Michael Jordan was. How many
Exactly.
Yeah.
All those players you saw in the All-Star clip in episode 5, whatever it is, they didn't get championships, but they're all Hall of Fame because of one person. What happens if Reggie Miller has a championship? Is he one of the best players?
He's probably
Reggie Miller was tough.
Reggie Miller is definitely a top 5 2 guard of all time if he has a ring.
If Bird is playing in prime Jordan years, he guarantee he does not get in. Jordan was just a different athlete.
Well, maybe Bird would have got a couple because that's
I don't know.
That Celtics team. I mean, a lot of people.
They were not.
That's one of the great teams. They think like that's like a top 5 team of all time. Maybe they get
86 team.
Right.
Maybe
that
they
86
get
team.
Yeah, they
because you had dudes on the bench in '86.
Right.
The bench in Chicago was real thin. The bench in Boston had hauls.
Charles Barkley was on with Colin Cowherd today, and he said he thought those first 3 Bulls teams were better than the Dennis Rodman, the teams with Dennis, the second 3.
Those first Bulls team were hungry.
To me, to me, the best team was the 91, the first team. They were so hungry.
To me, it was just built different. Like,
it was.
And I don't know. See, I don't like comparisons like that because it's like comparing players from different eras. Like, oh, would so and so do well in this era? Like,
I think it's also because they were like that 91 team and the 96 team. Like, it's not like it was a different era. It was basically the same era.
Yeah.
What?
It really was.
You're just playing tit for tat with role players.
Horace Grant was a second team all defensive player, and he was a way better offensive player than Dennis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But Michael Jordan was so great, nobody cares what Horace Grant ever did with the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah. Oh,
that's how good he was. Horace Grant was a good player. But unless you're Michael Jordan, nobody remembers. Or Scottie Pippen.
Because you talk about the different little role dudes.
On the corner that would shoot the 3.
Well, when you talk about role guys, if you're talking about the first 3, everyone's going to bring up Paxson. The second 3, everyone's going to bring up Steve Kerr.
Right.
They hit big shots.
And then you got to give it to Krause.
Team.
You got to give it to Krause because he put the guys around Michael Jordan that needed to be there.
Right.
Because all of those people, like, what was that, the Suns game where he scored all the points in the 4th?
Yeah.
He was the only one that scored until he passed it to Paxson and allowed him to score.
Pass the Horace, you pass the Paxson. But I'm just saying, like, it all come down to Jordan and Pippen as the top 2 guys. You can put a lot of guys around them. So I'm not going to give Jerry Krause this giant pat on the back for doing his job, but he put guys the same kind of guys.
Yeah, and he had Mike, who was not drafted by Jerry Krause.
You know, you put the guys that do the same thing in the same spots. They're just better options for the organization money wise because you got B.J. Armstrong the first time off the bench, who ends up being an all-star and going to Golden State, which is crazy.
He could hoop though. He could actually play.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get rid of Horace. And you pick up Rodman acting like he did it. His assistant GM had to talk him into getting him.
And remember, Horace, after he left Chicago, became a first-team all-defensive guy.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to give him this extra pat on the back for filling the slots with the same kind of guys. Like he had to go search. Like, oh, my God, I'm gonna pick up under this rock to find B.J. Armstrong. Oh, let me go get Steve Kerr away from – where was he at? He wasn't in Cleveland. He was in Orlando for a little bit.
Yeah.
Steve just needed an opportunity to stand in the spot and shoot the ball. Like he could do
it. What better team to be with than when you're with Michael Jordan?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to give him that extra credit.
We got to go to Byron here.
What you got, Byron?
This one, I actually want to comment what y'all were saying about Barkley, man. I want to go back a little bit because I was like, man, that's one. I don't know if he was quite. They were on the same page. I wouldn't say his level. But that guy was amazing. And Draymond Green is running his mouth.
Get
and
the fuck out. His fucking mouth.
No.
You don't play Draymond anywhere in any conversation.
Let's leave Draymond out of this. He'd be asking for trouble.
I think Mike that said it, Morris that is, he said that you said something about Barkley, him playing in the wrong era. No, you said that how he had the number one MVP voting, obviously, number one record. You got to realize, after the Dream Team or in that summer, he demands a trade. He played on a really bad team for a very long time.
No, I wouldn't say that because in 92, they got to the second round, Byron.
Sixers were decent.
They were one of the two Bulls losses in 92 in the playoffs.
Yeah, I wouldn't say bad.
No,
Okay.
91, not 92, 91.
Better than the Cavs then at that time?
No, I'm talking about 91. I mean 91. They were one of the two. The Lakers beat them and the Sixers beat them in 91. Those were the two teams.
Like Mike just put, the Sixers missed the playoffs in 92. That's why.
I'm saying,
but I'm talking about right before he got to the Suns. The Sixers weren't that bad. 89, 90, whatever, and then he demands a trade.
Did they miss it? Did they miss the 92 playoffs?
They missed.
Sixers did, yeah, because they lost Barkley. They pretty much sucked. So I mean, that was their.
Well, no, I mean 92. He was still on the team in 92.
Still there.
Who did they make it?
That's why
There's been some injuries.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Because they had Hersey Hawkins.
Yeah, Hersey Hawkins was.
Yeah, they had Hersey. So my whole point was this. Just backing up what Mike said was like, think about this. He goes to the Suns. He gets some decent teammates.
Now, the Suns were really good before he got there, though. In fairness,
look where he goes. But I mean, winning his career, with the exception of Hersey Hawkins, he played with an old Dr. J, an old Moses Malone. I think Collins had retired when he got there, right?
Yeah.
Retired.
Yeah, Doug was done.
He finally got Kevin Johnson, Dumas, Thunder Dan was a good basketball player. People just don't remember.
A role player.
Dragging him on Twitter. Nah, he would get you. He would shoot.
Hey, you know what? You know what Thunder Dan would be today? You know how people love Robert Covington? They would feel the same about Thunder Dan. They would feel the same about Thunder Dan now as Covington.
Exactly. So what Barkley did that season was fantastic. The only issue is, if once he lost that series, it was Hakeem's time. He emerged. That was the only thing that happened to him was Michael Jordan and Hakeem.
Wrong timing.
The worst things that happened.
In fairness, though, I got to ask this, Mike, Sean. If Mike does not retire, does Dream get it in 94? Do they still win?
At least one.
No, I'm saying 94 specifically. Because there was
when they keep going, I don't know if they can win 4. You mean 4 in a row?
Do you think the Rockets do get it in 94 anyways, even if Mike plays? Because we saw it took the Knicks 7 games to beat the Bulls without Mike. It took the Rockets 7 games to beat the Knicks. So that's why I think it's a fair question.
No, it's not, because you just asked him a while ago, or you said that, okay, Barkley wins. And Sean was saying he forgot how close that series was.
It definitely was
in Chicago, but you know why? Because they only played them twice a year. So that's not fair to say about the Knicks, because the Rockets only played them twice a year. That's why the Bulls took the Bulls 6 games, because they only played them twice, as opposed to playing the Knicks as 3 or 4 times over the years. They had their number, even going down 2-0. So what are you talking about?
I'm just saying. I think it's a fair question.
Okay,
I get it. It's hard to imagine because you don't know what Mike was in at that space, because he was getting tired.
Yeah, he was already worn down mentally.
He didn't have that same.
That's kind of why I asked, because we saw like in episode 6 how like he was basically fed up.
He's ready to go.
I got my theory on his retirement.
He didn't have that fire.
We'll get into that next week, but I know he was exhausted.
Yeah, I don't think he had the same intense fire, because the world is picking up. He's now this global icon. He can't go anywhere without anybody asking stuff of him. He's getting worn down in a long season. They get through that third one, you can just see it on him, like sitting in the locker room on the floor, like, man, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
He was drinking beer in the locker room, man. He needed a cold one after that.
Brewing a cigar.
The Bulls make it to the finals in 94 if Mike stays.
I think so.
There's no doubt he's back.
Because it's still in their mind that, like, the Knicks know that Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can adjust to Scotty and Tony, but what you gonna do to Mike? There is no adjusting to Mike. It's hoping Mike's not Mike.
And it went 7 without Mike.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
great. And now he's got another offensive weapon that doesn't have to rely on Mike 100%.
And I'll say this: we know pre The first three-peat, the Bulls struggled against the Rockets. That was the one team they struggled against. Hakeem had their number. They had no answer for Draymond.
That's what I'm saying. You have to give him his due. Like, you can play all day
that's why I
long.
asked that. I'm not saying it's a guarantee if Mike plays, they beat the Rockets.
No, I don't think there's no way it's a guarantee.
Yeah, not a guarantee at all.
You gotta have that other great player. The Rockets had Hakeem, another worldly talent facing Michael Jordan. Unfortunately, we never really got to.
Dream was the second best player in the world at that time.
And
Yeah.
the Bulls never really played a team. You saw it. Gonzo pointed this out to me. Whenever they played a team that had a bunch of shooters, they struggled. Look at Indiana. Indiana took them 7.
Yeah.
They had a bunch of shooters. If Scottie Pippen said something interesting, he's like, "Oh, I ain't gonna let Robert Horry shoot," which is true because he's long enough and he's big enough to defend Robert Horry. But if Kenny Smith and Sam Cassell catch fire,
and you got Matt Bullard at 6'10".
Exactly. Yeah. Then you got Mad Max. They're gonna definitely put Mad Max on. Mike, I don't care. No, I think
Mario Ellie could shoot.
Maxwell was one of the toughest dudes to ever guard Mike.
The toughest.
Yeah.
He's crazy. You gotta have it up there.
Yeah.
There's a switch. There's something up there that makes you think that I can guard Michael Jordan.
Vernon had some problems upstairs.
Yeah. I mean,
not past this. Has. Mess with him. You don't follow him on Twitter?
No.
Yeah.
I ain't bothering Max, man.
Does he say some asinine shit?
I love that account though. I like his account. He's interesting. Rex Chapman tends to get on my nerves.
I actually like Rex, man.
I like Rex.
Yeah.
Hey, I love it when Rex does his whole thing, blocker charge.
That's why I followed him. It just got ridiculous. I'm like, okay, Rex, I've had him.
Nah, it's funny. Hey, Rex is funny.
But
man.
Let me tell you something. I think the person that does get a 4-peat, you know what I mean? Maybe they have a new name. They'll probably call it like the 4-piece nugget, the 4-piece Chick-fil-A, whatever. Hold the barbecue sauce.
Oh man!
Because in this modern era, like I got a buddy out here I met when I moved to LA, and he's a troll. He'll like send me random texts like 8-0. That's what the Bulls would have been if Michael didn't retire. Oh, and we cannot have a conversation without him bringing that up. He's like, "Oh, Michael doesn't retire. He goes 8-0." I'm like, "Bro,
I disagree."
I'm like, "Thankfully, we'll never know."
Yeah.
And secondly, do you know how it's hard to win one championship?
That's a lot of games.
What happened to Golden State?
Mind you, they played in Barcelona. Like in '92, they didn't get a summer off. They played the whole summer in Barcelona, Michael and Scotty. And think, look what happened to Derrick Rose. We all know what contributed to injury. That
Thibodeau. No, that was Thibodeau.
Scotty was injured in
games. And
Scotty was injured in
Thibodeau. You can't play him 40 minutes and then not the way Derrick Rose plays. You can't use that comparison.
Going back to the Jordan Bulls, Scotty was injured in '98. He was hurt. You don't know if he would have been healthy.
Exactly. Like, no disrespect to your pops, but Mike kind of like, if you go back and watch Game 6 '98, Mike played. I mean, I haven't seen anyone play with that poise that he played. Not even the great Kareem, not even the great Magic Johnson. Maybe Kobe Bryant. I would say maybe LeBron up until he passed the ball. And then J.R. Smith fumbled with that free throw rebound. That game was perfect. The poise he played with. I mean,
LeBron. The Cavs should have won that game.
He won that game by himself.
He did
by himself, man. Yeah. But you're not gonna do that 8 straight. You're not gonna do that 8 years in a row. You know what I mean? You won't do it.
Right. I definitely see that at that time.
Yeah, I think Mike can play like that 8 years in a row.
Oh yeah,
his teammates. Not so much.
Hey, maybe Scotty.
Not so much.
I wouldn't even say
he was breaking down in '98.
Yeah.
Now
maybe
we get to Game 7, he might not even play.
Maybe Dennis, because that dude had energy out the fucking.
Yeah, Dennis was different.
Had the same durability that a LeBron James has. He was very durable. I
think Dennis could have done it,
given the way he plays. But I don't know if Michael Jordan. I don't know that. What's the incentive for him? He said that after they won the 3-peat, he sat down with Phil Jackson. He said, "What can you offer me? That's a challenge." He said 4 in a row. They haven't done it.
I got my theories. On that.
It wasn't a challenge enough for him.
That's bullshit to me.
But I mean, I just don't think anyone and the person that wins 4 in a row, or even 8 in a row, but not just like because he got a solid team like the Warriors or something like that, or the Celtics of the '80s, or the Lakers of the '80s. But I'm talking about like you doing some Michael Jordan stuff, like heroics. You putting up 30 a game, like that Michael Jordan, Kobe player like that. If whoever does that, they will be the GOAT. And they need to be tested for steroids. Now here's another hit, Barry Bonds.
You would throw the sling out there.
All right, so anybody have anything else that they want to touch on before we get out of here?
Small note. Nobody. I haven't heard many people bring this up, but how Mike just gonna have his own office in the locker room? Anybody else just?
I know.
Yeah.
Is that the office where they were playing quarters?
Yeah. Or when Randy Brown came in there, like, man, you need one. Does it matter where you at? That's in the finals. Right. That's not a regular season game. That's the finals.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna pull this ticket out out of my desk in our locker room. Now go and get out of my office right quick. Me and my security in here handling business.
MJ's referring to himself as God.
That was
you're right.
Oh,
that was like, dang. And they was going for that.
Yeah,
that was funny.
Come on, Byron. I'm curious to your comments on that.
That was so bad. But you know what? It's probably something I would say very jokingly, very, very jokingly. But you know, my mom always told me, you never put yourself on a level. You never do that. It's blasphemous. But it also showed his sense of humor. And because one thing I will say is this. You never see the arrogance so much outside of you know the basketball thing. You know what I mean? Like you don't see that. Like he speaks highly of himself. He's very conceited when it comes to his ability.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it was still in the context of basketball. Some might say he's a basketball guy. I might be reaching here a bit. But that was like,
Byron, you're the biggest Michael Jordan fan.
Right.
I know
he meant that.
So I'm going to give you that. I'm going to give you that, Byron.
What you say? He meant that.
Yeah. Michael Jordan.
He looked up and saw the camera like, you know what? No, don't you.
He's in basketball mode. So whatever comes out of his mouth, he means it. Like he's preparing himself to talk shit.
The Kingdom's Arena at the United Center.
He's preparing himself to talk shit.
Then we're going to edit that out. And
you know what I like, though? Hey, in fairness to Mike, he didn't edit none of this shit out.
Yeah.
I'll tell
you
real quick, you know what he did edit out, though? Remember 91 finals, game 1? Perkins hits the big-time 3, and Mike misses the in-and-out shot. You notice they didn't show that.
Oh no!
I'm not mad because they did.
I think still salty about it.
But they did show it in one of those Jordan movies back in the day, like Airtime or something like that.
Yeah, but he wasn't producing, like helping produce that. So
yeah,
a little different when his hands in it.
Shot in game 1 against the Lakers. It did rattle in and out.
When you got a 10-part shoe commercial, you don't show the bricks.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Hey, real quick, Byron, because we know the fire red, white metallic 5s came out this weekend. Did you notice they showed that in episode 5 with the Mars Blackman? They showed that sneaker. Let me ask you this real quick, Byron. Had this episode premiered before Saturday, would it have been even crazier this weekend for those 5s?
Oh, definitely. The hype would have gone up. Yeah, the anticipation would have increased
because we saw Pete. No offense to you, I know that's your hometown, but we saw those.
No offense to me.
We saw those fools in Atlanta lining up and packing outside of the mall into the streets to get those 5.
Well, that's how it was at Nike Town at Lenox when I used to go. You'd have to wait 2 hours in line just to get up there.
There was no coronavirus back then, though.
Yeah, you're right. Well, that's the governor's stupidity.
Governor,
that's the governor's stupidity.
The state of Georgia for that.
Yeah.
Like that's like why you mad at them?
I mean, when you got surrounding states governors saying he made a mistake,
they're doing what they're allowed to do, right? It's legal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna tell you how crazy it is here. I gotta fucking go into the grocery store with a mask on.
It's the same here. You have to do it.
You have to go to the. If you go to the grocery store, you have to have a mask.
They won't let you in.
Okay, that's good.
They don't let you in. But what I'm saying is, they have the markers so the social distance. Okay.
They do have that.
That's what they should have had at the Lenox Mall or wherever that was for the Jordan release. That's what
they were.
that'd have been out.
Hey, but here's the thing. I saw that video, and I went through boot camp in the Navy, and we called it nut to butt. That's what them fools were in that video. Fives. They were nut to butt. They were no social distancing.
Yeah, you do them 6 feet lines out there at Lenox, you're gonna end up at 285 probably.
It wasn't Lenox.
Yeah, you're right.
But it wasn't Lenox. What mall did I say it was, Pete?
Greenbrier.
Greenbrier.
Yeah.
Oh nah. What? No.
Yeah.
You know about Greenbrier, Mike?
Yeah.
My grandfather lives like a mile and a half from Greenbrier.
Yeah, that's where it was.
We went by there for Thanksgiving.
So are you saying that social distancing is not happening at that mall?
Nah, no way.
I'm not going in there even without it.
Yeah.
You keep that Greenbrier shit.
Yeah.
So according to Mike Skills, it's similar. It's the equivalent to like a Sharps.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
It's like Sharpstown, West Oaks.
West Oaks? Nah, West Oaks is no Sharps.
I guess maybe the LA Fox Hills Mall.
Dude, nah. It ain't quite Greens Point. They ain't just gonna like come pop you up real quick.
Hey, real quick.
Now the thing about Greenbrier when I was growing up, like you didn't go. Like if you was white, you didn't go that way.
Nah, that's East Point. That's
Just FYI, if you black, you shouldn't go there.
Yeah, you're right.
Magic Johnson Fridays and Magic Johnson Theaters.
Yeah.
Before you close us out. So we're talking about Greens Point, and I had to bring this up since it's about Jays. If y'all remember, back on YouTube, we had to Get Money Boys.
Nah,
let's remember that.
I do that.
No, it's funny. You had I'm not making it's not to make fun of anybody, but it was dudes. What I'm saying is,
man, put that out.
I'm just saying it was dudes lined up like
the show. We will see y'all next week. We will be back next week. We will have Coach Mo, Pete Toal, Mike Gill,
Byron's closing
and myself. We are signing off. Thanks for tuning in. Next time.